been made. Mayor Emanuel now facing a major challenger with much more experience in city government than he has. AM 560's David Stewart reports former Chicago Public Schools CEO Paul Vallis is in the race.
Paul Vallis says he wants to be mayor to stop the exodus of people from the city. He says the loss of population can be traced to the city's troubled finances under Rahm Emanuel.
By avoiding the tough decisions like pension funding, by deferring critical actions until after the election, ultimately and inevitably driving up the costs to taxpayers and taxing.
Stewart, NBC News Radio, Chicago.
Former Cook County State's Attorney Anita Alvarez is threatening to sue her successor over allegations made in a recent book. In the book, Know My Place, reflections on sexual harassment and her hate and harassment charges over allegations that he threatened violence against gay bars on Chicago's North Side. He was let out of jail Tuesday night, even though he was indicted on felony charges. Cook County Sheriff's Department says they were told Sleeper's misdemeanor charges have been dismissed, so he was released. The plan to require local schools to teach lessons on LGBT history is a step closer to becoming law. The Illinois State Senate approving that yesterday. Senator Heather Stearns says her plan would give LGBT students in the state someone to look up to. However, there is major pushback on the idea from school administrators who say they oppose adamantly any classroom mandates from Springfield. Family and friends this morning are mourning the death of one of the co-founders of Chicago's iconic Superdog Drive-In. Florence Berman passed away Tuesday night at age of 92. Florence and her husband, Maury, opened the famed hot dog stand in 1948 near Devon in Milwaukee. Her death comes almost exactly 3 years after her husband died in May of 2015. Nolan Arenado homered twice, drove in 5. Rockies crushed the Cubs 11-2 at Wrigley Field. Yu Darvish tagged for 6 runs, 5 earned. Dexter Fowler's 2-run home run in the 7th held up. Cardinals beat the White Sox 3-2 and sweep a 2-game interleague series. Bears declining to pick up the 5th-year option on wide receiver Kevin White's rookie contract. Lightning and Sharks both won in the Stanley Cup playoffs, and the Jazz and Rockets are tied at 1 game each after Utah snatches Game 2 in Houston, 116-108. The news service of Comcast Business. Small business internet providers promise you a lot. Comcast Business offers fast gig speeds across the network. AT&T doesn't. They offer more complete reliability with up to 8 hours of 4G wireless network backup. AT&T doesn't. Comcast Business gives you more. Comcast Business, built for business. It's 5:07 on AM 560. Time for a dry basement and a healthy home. Time to call Permaseal, 800-421-SEAL. A check of traffic and weather is on the way next on AM 560.
On AM 560, The Answer. Your opinion counts. And we want to know how you feel about the news stories we're talking about each and every day. Make sure to vote in the M13 Graphics Opinion Express poll at 560theanswer.com. Listen for today's poll question at 10:30 a.m., 12:30 p.m., and 3:30 p.m. and hear the results each evening at 5:30. It's the M13 Graphics Opinion Express poll on 560theanswer.com.
Attention to this important announcement. If you have ever taken prescriptions like Adderall and are concerned about the side effects and high cost, now there's a new all-natural smart pill available that's the closest thing to a safe, real-life, limitless pill. It's so powerful and effective that students, athletes, and execs all want to get their hands on it. It's called Limitless, a Coastline product, and it's truly remarkable. It can help skyrocket your concentration, improve your creative thinking, enhance your memory, and make you feel like a better version of yourself. Call and find out how to get a free bottle of Limitless and experience this firsthand. It's not a question of whether this powerful pill works, but how great it can make you feel. Take it and watch it go to work. Limitless may be the best kept secret available today.
To find out how to get your free bottle of Limitless, call 800-605-1653. That's 800-605-1653. Get your free bottle for a limited time. Call now, 800-605-1653, 800-605-1653.
Dan Proft here, and I'm here with my guy, Ryan Kelly, at thehomeloanexpert.com. If you're like most folks, this time of year, the credit card debt really starts to add up. Ryan was telling me about a loan that can help you get rid of the credit card debt.
Absolutely. It's a cash-out refinance, and it's one of the favorite loans that we do here at thehomeloanexpert.com. It's just as easy as a normal refinance. We'll get you the lower rate, drop the payment and all that, but we'll also get you the cash you need to pay off the credit cards. Stop making those greedy credit card companies rich. Month after month, you make the payments, the balances don't come down. Maybe you get really good and you pay them down, but it seems like something pops up and they're right back up. It almost makes you scared to go to the mailbox. If you're a homeowner, know this. Home values all around Chicagoland are skyrocketing. You have a lot of equity. Your home is worth a lot more than it was just a year ago. Let's do a refinance, get the cash out, and pay off all those credit cards once and for all. I'm Ryan Kelly. I truly am the home loan expert. Apply for your cash out refinance today at thehomeloanexpert.com. The Home Loan Expert LLC.
Quality doors and windows are one of the smartest investments you can make. They improve your home's appearance and save you money on energy bills year-round. Say goodbye to high-pressure sales tactics and enjoy the best window and door experience with Next Door and Window. Call now and schedule your free quote, 630-590-1370, or go online to nextdoorandwindow.com. Next Door and Window has wood-clad, vinyl, and fiberglass windows and doors. Their staff will help you find exactly what you want. Right now, get 10% off windows and doors with no money down and no payments for 1 year. Call 630-590-1370 or go to nextdoorandwindow.com to schedule your free quote. Choose from 3 showrooms in Chicagoland, Arlington Heights, Burr Ridge, and Naperville. Call 630-590-1370 or go to nextdoorandwindow.com to schedule your free quote and for finance qualifications.
Next Door and Window, thousands of options, one perfect fit.
5:11. Check of the roads in the Alarm Detection Systems Traffic Center this morning. Picking up all the pieces from the overnight storms, here's Jim Talamonte.
Good morning, Mike. On the Kennedy Expressway inbound, we've got a crash in the express lanes. This has a second crash in the same area, which has the express lanes closed between North Avenue and Division. There's some concrete debris there. And we are seeing some delays on the inbound Kennedy from Armitage to Division in the local lanes, where 2 left lanes are blocked at near Division due to a second separate crash. So it's about 26 minutes from downtown to O'Hare, and the express lanes are shut down right now. Edens is okay at the moment, aside from wet conditions. Same goes for the Eisenhower. Overnight roadwork is cleared on the Stevensons. Traffic's moving well there. We do have, starting today on the Tri-State, closures of the ramps at 159th. Right now, northbound at Cicero, there's a crash in the left lane. Got flooding in Northbrook. Willow Road is partially blocked in both directions at Shermer due to flooding of the viaduct there. Skokie, power outage has rail crossings. The CTA rail crossing closed, affecting Crawford, Costner, Oakton, Niles Center, and Prairie, among others, in Skokie. And then as we look at the flight boards at O'Hare this morning, we see quite a few delays for arrivals and departures. Midway, just a few delays. Traffic service with Discover Student Loans. Figuring out how to cover college costs? Discover Student Loans is one of the top private student loan lenders in the country. Great rates, 0 fees, plus students can earn a cash reward for their good grades. Visit discoverstudentloans.com to apply today. Limitations apply. Traffic answers when you need them most. I'm Jim Talamonte on AM 560, The Answer.
Chicago's Morning Answers starts next. Your official Chicagoland weather forecast from the 1 Hour Heating and Air Conditioning Weather Center. Here is meteorologist Alexandra Rabb.
Today is cloudy with a couple of showers and a thunderstorm and a high of 73. And tonight we have a couple of thunderstorms around, some severe. Considerable clouds and a breeze. Thunderstorms can bring flooding downpours, large hail, and damaging wind gusts, low of 61. I'm Alex Rabb on AM 560, The Answer.
64 at O'Hare, 55 along Chicago's lakefront this morning. Our warm spot, 66 at Midway. Your next news update is at 5:30. Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan and Amy starts now on AM 560, The Answer.
This hourly segment is brought to you by The Lou Bridges Show, a show about the greatest financial crime in history. Saturday mornings at 8 on AM 560, The Answer.
This is Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan Proft and Amy Jacobson on AM 560, The Answer.
Good morning, Dan and Amy. President Trump, raring to go. He wants to sit with Mueller and his team and answer questions. His lawyers don't want him to, at least not without certain preconditions. And that was a topic yesterday when Rudy Giuliani sat down with Sean Hannity.
Yeah, but then it took a crazy turn. When not when President Trump, but when Giuliani came out and admitted that President Trump paid back Michael Cohen for the $130,000 in hush money he paid to Stormy Daniels. That was shocking to me. And even Sean Hannity seemed shocked, didn't he? Did you watch some of the interview? I mean, he seemed that he didn't expect that. He didn't see that coming.
Yeah, that did happen. The Giuliani saying no campaign finance violation, and
This is a huge story. I was floored.
Having something to do with paying some Stormy Daniels woman $130,000. I mean, which is going to turn out to be perfectly legal. That money was not campaign money. Sorry, I'm giving you a fact now that you don't know. It's not campaign money. No campaign finance violation. So
they funneled it through the law firm.
Funneled through the law firm, and the president repaid it.
Oh, I didn't know he did.
Yep.
News to me.
Yeah.
Okay.
Explaining it in more detail.
I was talking about the $130,000 payment,
right?
The settlement payment, which is a very regular thing for lawyers to do. The question there was, the only possible violation there would be, was it a campaign finance violation, which usually would result in a fine, by the way, not this big stormtroopers coming in and breaking down his apartment and breaking down his office. That was money that was paid by his lawyer, the way I would do, out of his law firm funds or whatever funds, doesn't matter. The president reimbursed that over a period of several months.
He had said, I distinctly remember that he did it on his own.
He did?
Without asking.
Look, I don't know. I haven't investigated that. No reason to dispute that. No reason to dispute his recollection. Right. I like Michael a lot. You like Michael a lot.
Known him a long time.
I feel very bad he's been victimized like this. The president feels even worse. The fact is, just trust me, they're going to come up with no violations there.
All right. You meaning the
yeah, payments are perfectly legal.
Let me go back to the main crux of it.
All documented.
Okay. So what else you got there?
Well, it's counter to what both men said. Michael Cohen and President Trump has said publicly. Cohen first saying that he was never reimbursed and that he did this on his own because he didn't want the president's reputation sullied. And then President Trump even said, too, that he had no idea about this payment to Stormy Daniels. Remember when he was on the plane?
Do you know about the $130,000 payment to Stormy Daniels? Then why did Michael Cohen make this if there was no truth or allegation?
You have to ask Michael Cohen. Michael's my attorney, and you'll have to ask Michael.
He specifically said no. He had no idea about the $130,000. And we learned last night that, yes, he did know about it, and he even reimbursed his attorney, Michael Cohen, for the $130,000.
So
I just feel lied to.
Well, so the president lied. What else you got?
That's a big deal. Because if he lies about that, what else is he lying about?
I don't know what else.
I don't trust him. And you can tell, too, when that reporter asked him on the plane, he had that look like, no. And he was walking back into the front part of the plane.
Do you think there's anything illegal here?
No. I just, morally, I just think it's...
Are you surprised that the president has lied about matters such as these, particularly related to his personal or business dealings?
The cover-up is worse than the crime. If he would have just come out...
There is no crime.
Say, crime of the heart in the marriage. Just come out and said, I had an affair. I had a few affairs. Instead of secretly passing money around and having people come out saying, oh, I did this on behalf of my friend. I just took a second mortgage out of my house to pay off a porn star. It's gross. And I was shocked yesterday when I heard that because I've been told something else for the past 3 months.
Where did you think Cohen got the money? Or how did you think this actually went down? Did you think that Cohen preemptively and without knowledge of his friend and sometime client paid $130,000 to a porn star, and there was no communication between the two, and there was no subsequent communication between Stormy Daniels of $130,000 and see if she'll go away? I think she will. You think that conversation or something akin to it never happened? The suspension of disbelief about this stuff is sort of breathtaking to me. Of course, I knew President Trump was lying about this in some form or fashion, that he had some relevant knowledge about it. I don't think it's illegal. I think it's unseemly. I think President Trump is, of generally speaking, low character and has been for a long time in his personal and professional dealings, and so I'm not going to pretend to be surprised.
Sean Hannity looked surprised.
Well, he looked surprised because he just found the information came over the transom. I don't know that he's surprised that this is now been revealed. They were surprised by the underlying truth of what went down. Is anybody surprised by the underlying truth of what went down?
Right,
is my point.
Yeah.
And do you care?
312-642-5600 is the Turnkey.pro answer line. 64636. Type in DA, then a quick comment.
Because here's the thing about this. This is what we do in this godforsaken culture now. We pick and choose our moral indignation without any standards. I don't care about this stuff. Now I care. Then I don't care. And if somebody does the same thing, depending on their political persuasion or whether I have some affinity for their work, then I care or I don't care. There are no standards. All lines are erased, and thus the Boy Scouts are no more. We'll get to that later. Tony on the South Side, the person who termed the phrase, the moniker.
Tangerine Jesus.
There it is.
Tangerine Jesus. Love him. Listen, hey, I fancy myself as a human lie detector. I can spot lies. Trump's an artist at this, so he didn't necessarily lie. When he was asked the question, he said he didn't know about the payment, which could be legitimate. Maybe at the time.
Not last month. Not last month. It couldn't be legitimate.
Well, I'm saying the way he was worded, he was saying that he didn't know about the payment. That could have meant that at the time when his lawyer paid off the porn star, that he wasn't aware of it because the guy did on his own through, like you said, his own private fund, and then went back to Trump later on and say, I paid her off. You know what I'm saying? So maybe that's what he was referring to, that at the time when it happened.
Yeah, but Tony, how would you
defending the lie here?
How would you characterize this? Would you characterize Trump as engaged in prevarication on the topic?
I would characterize it as I don't give a crap.
Okay,
really
there it
don't.
is. That's my
There you
point.
go.
That's my point. Thank you. Thank
Should
you,
be
Tony.
Tangerine Lion Jesus now.
No, I know your hero has fallen off his pedestal.
It really
Good
bothers
grief.
me.
Tom in Deer
It
Park.
should bother everybody. It's disturbing.
Oh, good morning. I just wondered if anybody's surprised that this lie came out during the number one rated state-run media known as Hannity's Fox show. That's just what I'm wondering. Or did you guys think it would come out somewhere else?
Well, according to CNN, White House personnel staff were shocked that they called it a blunt or a blunder, and they said that they think Giuliani will be fired by the end of the week. Where I think that this was planned. Like, this is what you're going to do. You're my mouthpiece. You're going to go on Hannity because they're after Michael Cohen. He now owes they found out he owes $280,000 in taxes for New York State. I mean, it's a witch hunt. They raided his house, his apartment, or his office and his hotel room looking for correspondence between him and President Trump and these payoffs. So the heat's on, so come clean and just say what happened, and then hopefully it'll go away.
Yummy on the north side.
Good morning, Amy. Good morning, Dan.
Morning.
Do I really care about 130,000 Hush money to Stormy? I don't. Do you know what I care about? I care about the policy. When the United States president lifted the restriction on trade between Nigeria and the United States. That's what I care about. I don't care about all this fun stuff. I care about policy.
Are you Nigerian, Yummy?
I'm from Nigeria.
Okay. Great. Thanks for the call, Yemi. Appreciate it. But, I mean, that's the argument that's made by a lot of people. So Yemi, obviously, has personal interest in his home country, but policy. Don't care about what the president does on personal matters. Chris in Aurora.
I think we need to set up a sign inside the studio for every time Amy flip-flops when she loves Trump, when she hates Trump, when she loves Trump, when she hates Trump. Because this is a non-issue. It's no big deal. It's not going to change the way that I vote and probably a majority of people will vote. But this is just, again, where the wind blows, and now she doesn't like him.
No, he's the president of the United States, and he lied to everybody. You don't have a problem with that? That doesn't sit well with you? I mean, really.
Seth and Marengo.
Yeah, I'd just like to say that, it's really none of our business. It's his personal life. I don't know why everybody's making a big deal out of it when there's more important things going on.
All right. Thanks, Seth. Greg in Schaumburg.
Well, I got 4 really quick things. First of all, this is a 13-year-ago thing, and as I've said before on your show, you can't judge Trump in current time based on what happened 13 years ago. He's a totally changed guy. I know you debate the saved aspect of that. But I agree with Amy and what she's saying, that I think that they handed the impeachment issue gasoline last night, because as we remember from 1974 with Nixon, impeachment is basically not metaphysical certitude on anything. It is exactly what the body politic will come about at any given point in time. And one last thing, Dan, is huge. Michael Cohen is, I think, going to get sued on this, or something's going to happen for fraud on this mortgage, because being an XLO, when you take money out of your house on something like this, and if you don't disclose exactly what it's going to be, and they find out about it, and this is such circuitous, he's going to get in huge trouble, and this is going to add even more problems to this.
It's an interesting. Thanks for the call, Greg. Your last thought is interesting. I don't know that that's the case. I mean, if it's for personal, I know household expenses, sorts of things, paying down credit card debt. I mean, I don't know. That's probably a reach. Here's the thing. This is a way for Trump to rally to the defense of Michael Cohen, so you don't leave him out there twisting in the wind, which probably is to Trump's medium-term, if not long-term benefit, number one. Number two, nobody cares about this. I'm sorry nobody does. I mean, Amy's upset that the president lied to the country because this is the first time that's happened. But in terms of this moving the needle between the people who like Trump and hate Trump, people who want Trump impeached and do not, don't think it moves the needle very much. We'll return to Mueller and his investigation very quickly, which will ultimately, I think, probably have much less to do with Stormy Daniels with this disclosure, other than some kind of, trumped up, pardon the pun, a campaign finance violation play. Which it doesn't seem to me, if what Giuliani's saying is true, will have much in terms of legs, and certainly not much in terms of impeachment value. And then the last thing, remember, impeachment is not, it's a political process. So does it give more ammo for the impeachment crowd? Slightly, but it's the whole impeachment play is going to be predicated on some ability to persuade the American people that Trump did something improper with respect to using the machinery of government to obstruct justice or enrich himself or others. It's not going to be about a $130,000 payment to Stormy Daniels.
Connect with Dan and Amy on the AM 560 The Answer mobile app. Just text the word app to 64636 to download the app today.
Hey guys, Ken here from the hit podcast Today's Growth. We all know increasing revenue's tough, but did you know that 100% of main sources of income fail? The odds are 100% that your current main source of income will someday no longer exist. 439 of 1955's original Fortune 500 are no longer around, yet their industries and even their product lines still thrive. What happened to these companies? Simple. They didn't believe that 100% of main sources of income fail. They never added a second revenue model. For years, my friends at Income Store have helped both households and businesses build second, third, and even fourth revenue streams. When it comes to helping people create their next revenue model, both Forbes and Inc. recommend Income Store as a can't miss. Could your household or business use an additional revenue model that doesn't solely depend on you? If so, you need to check out IncomeStore.com. That's IncomeStore.com.
Go to IncomeStore.com today. That's IncomeStore.com.
AM 560, The Answer.
Dan and Amy coming up Thursday, June 14th. We were mentioning it yesterday, and I want to mention it again today. 100 Club of Chicago golf outing, our annual golf outing at Bolingbrook Golf Club. Thursday, June 14th. It's about 6 weeks away. Full day of golf, 7:30 a.m. and 2:30 p.m. Shotgun starts. You play with Amy, you play with Joe, you play with me, you play with yourself.
Well, okay.
I could have worded that
plenty
differently.
of balls because it's a daunting course and there's a lot of water holes and you might lose your ball. There's also lunch from 12:30 to 2 and a silent auction. And we have our special business benefactor program. If you are a business owner or a marketing director for your company, listen up, turn up your radio, because for just $1,196, you can play golf. The proceeds go to the 100 Club of Chicago. But also, we will give you 25, think about it, 25 60-second commercials that will air right here on AM 560, The Answer. The person to call is Anjanette. Her number is 312-363-6680. That's 312-363-6680. Coming up on Chicago's Morning Answer.
We'll continue our review of Rudy Giuliani's review of Trump's various legal challenges, focusing now on whether he should or should not sit down with Mueller and under what terms at 5:38.
And who Rudy was talking about when he said men are disposable. But first, let's go into the newsroom. Here's Mike Scott.
62 flash flood warning remains, flash flood watch remains into effect until 10 a.m. this morning, after an evening and overnight thunderstorms and heavy rain. Rudy Giuliani says President Donald Trump repaid attorney Michael Cohen for the $130,000 payment to porn star Stormy Daniels.
Having something to do with paying some Stormy Daniels woman $130,000, I mean, which is going to turn out to be perfectly legal. That money was not campaign money. Sorry, I'm giving you a fact now that you don't know. It's not campaign money. No campaign finance violation. Funneled through law firm, and the president repaid it.
Former New York City mayor and federal prosecutor recently joined Trump's legal team. The president teasing progress in getting the release of 3 Americans held hostage in North America let go. On Twitter, the president saying the past administration had long been demanding 3 hostages be released from a North Korean labor camp, but to no avail. He says, stay tuned. Progress is being made. As many as 9 are believed dead after a Puerto Rico Air National Guard cargo plane crashed on a Georgia highway. Port Wentworth Police Chief Matt Libby says people there will feel the effects of that crash for a long time.
We're going to stress to the local population, this is going to drastically affect your life for an extended period of time. I wish I could tell you more as to how long. We don't know.
A Georgia Air National Guard spokesman says the C-130 Hercules cargo plane was on its last flight, carrying members of the Puerto Rico National Guard when it crashed during a training exercise. The first death in the nation's E. coli outbreak is being reported as someone from California. The latest update from the CDC shows 23 additional cases and 3 more states involved in the tainted lettuce. Several police officers hurt this morning after a barn explodes in Connecticut behind a house where a hostage situation was taking place. This woman nearby heard the blast.
These men just doing their jobs, and I can't even imagine how their wives are feeling right now, the police officers, because I'm just dumbfounded right now.
SWAT team members were on scene at that home in North Haven for a barricade situation when the blast happened. Cleanup underway after severe storms tore through Chicagoland overnight. Damage reported throughout the region, including at an apartment building on Chicago's south side.
It sounded like a big earthquake.
Residents say in an instant, the winds ripped part of the roof off. Shakisha Lyles lives with her 5 kids on the top floor.
We went to the back door, and when the back door, the roof is gone.
Thousands of ComEd customers were left without power. Over 200 flights were canceled at O'Hare and Midway airports. No one is in custody after 5 were shot in a drive-by shooting on Chicago's west side. Police say a woman and 2 men and 2 boys were standing last night outside of a home on West Grenshaw Street when someone in a passing vehicle opened fire. Taste of Chicago gets underway in July, but the music lineup has been announced. Some of the headliners set to perform at the Petrillo Music Shell including Grammy-nominated singer Brandi Carlile. George Plimpton and Parliament and Funkadelic will rock the house, as will the Flaming Lips. World's largest food fest scheduled to take place in Grant Park July 11th through the 15th. Rockies crush the Cubs 11-2 at Wrigley Field. Cardinals sweep out the White Sox with a 3-2 win. The news a service of Discover Student Loans. Figuring out how to cover college costs, Discover Student Loans is one of the top private student loan lenders in the country. With great rates and zero fees, plus students can earn a cash reward for their good grades. Visit discoverstudentloans.com to apply today. Limitations apply. 5:34 and a check of traffic and weather on the way next on AM 560.
Mike Gallagher thinks the Democrats are scrambling.
This is so crazy. The left is in such a frenzy. The DNC lawsuit suing WikiLeaks and the Trump campaign. Oh, yeah, Russia. Sue Russia, because that'll work. It's nuts. We are in Crazyville.
The Mike Gallagher Show. Weekdays at 9, right before Dennis Prager at 11 on AM 560. The Answer.
How many times a day can you fuel up and go at CVS Pharmacy? Let's find out. It's 8 a.m. and you're leaving the gym. You head to CVS to refuel and boom, 2 for $3 Gatorade. That afternoon, the slump hits. Vending machine? Nope, CVS, where boom. Kind Bars, buy one, get one 50% off. Finally, it's 5 p.m., so you hit CVS before the commute and boom. Buy one, get one 50% off Gold Emblem nuts. Stop by CVS Pharmacy and fuel up and go on smarter snacking and beverage options. Restrictions apply. See cvs.com/weekly ad for details.
When the need for senior care arises, there's no place like home. Your loved ones should never have to give up living at home. Visiting Angels will provide home care for your mom or dad at home up to 24 hours per day, including personal care, meals, and light housework. You'll select your professional caregiver with Visiting Angels. Look up visitingangels.com or call 877-374-LIVE. That's 877-374-LIVE. Franchises are available. Visiting Angels, America's choice in senior home care.
True story. So I urged one of my family members to call CertaPro Painters. He didn't do it, and that painting crew had to come back 3 times to fix their awful, sloppy mistakes, even paint on the floor, if you can believe it. Well, with CertaPro Painters, you get the best in the business. The attention to detail, color selection is truly unmatched. And now is the perfect time to get the interior of your home or business painted. The lower humidity provides an ideal environment for great coverage and quick drying times. They use fine quality paints with zero or low VOCs, very little to no odor during application. Be an early bird and cross the first item off your 2018 to-do list. It's also the perfect time to spruce up your commercial property. Remember, each CertaPro Painter's business is independently owned and operated, so schedule your free estimate online at CertaPro.com or call 1-800-GO-CERTA. That's CERTA with the C. CertaPro Painters, we do painting, you do life.
5:37. Let's get an update on the roads in the Alarm Detection Systems Traffic Center. Here's Jim Talamonte.
Thanks, Mike. On the inbound Kennedy Expressway near Division, there was an earlier jackknife semi. There were 2 crashes in that area. They've both cleared. All lanes have reopened, and crews quickly cleared some concrete debris, which had fallen in the express lanes. So everything's open, but there are delays, in part due to those crashes and in part due to the conditions. Looking at a 32-minute travel time from O'Hare to downtown, 17 minutes from Montrose, 18 in the Express, outbound 22 minutes to the airport. Eden's wet, but otherwise okay. Speeds are reduced with the rain. Eisenhower, little tight First Avenue to Des Plaines Avenue, 2-minute delay. Stevenson inbound delay start at Harlem, 40 minutes, 3:55 to Lakeshore Drive. Line 18 minutes, 95th to downtown. Bishop Ford already 34 minutes, 80-94 to the merge. Eastbound Adams Tollway jam for the Tri-State down to the Kennedy. There are quite a few flight delays. Traffic service of Napa. Nothing like a little rain to remind you that it's time to change your windshield wipers. Luckily, or a quick stop, Napa, away from new wiper blades and a streakless windshield. So stop by your local Napa this month. Great deals on Napa Exact Fit wiper blades. Quality parts, helpful people. That's Napa know-how. Traffic answers when you need them most. I'm Jim Talamonte, AM 560, The Answer.
Chicago's Morning Answer continues next. Your official Chicagoland weather forecast from the 1 Hour Heating and Air Conditioning Weather Center. Cloudy and cooler today. Couple of showers, maybe a thunderstorm, a high near 72. A few evening storms will hang around. Low of 60. Currently 64. Next news coming up at 6. And Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan and Amy continues next on AM 560, The Answer.
This hourly segment is brought to you by Secure Retirement Radio with host Raj Shah. Sunday mornings at 7 on AM 560, The Answer.
When you've got questions, he always has an answer. It's Sean Hannity this afternoon at 2, right before Joe Walsh at 5 on AM 560, The Answer.
Good morning, Dan and Amy. So the other portion of the Giuliani interview by Sean Hannity last night.
Was it about Ivanka?
That took up most of the time. No, it wasn't the majority of the...
No, I know.
Yeah.
But we can play it later because it's fantastic. He said men are disposable. Yeah, don't touch... Jared Kushner's disposable, but don't you dare put your hands on Ivanka.
The graveyards will indicate we're all disposable, but okay. And so the big question, though, is where are we headed with respect to Trump sitting down and answering questions from Mueller, and under what circumstances, under what conditions? That was a lot of the back and forth between Hannity and Giuliani. And Giuliani made his position fairly clear.
If they're I would like to get one not under oath. I'd want it videotaped, and not videotaped, but audio tapes. I want to make sure they don't misrepresent his answers.
And then didn't he say he wanted the maximum 2 to 3 hours? You know, there's parameters to it, but I wouldn't do it at all. It's a perjury trap. And if you look at the questions, they're so broad. They're, it's so random. Then all of a sudden there's a question about, well, what did you mean when you sat down with Lester Holt and said this and this, and you were with Maria Bartiromo and said this and this, and then it asks questions about, Carter Page. It's just so broad that it's a trap.
Well, so the one stipulation Giuliani mentioned, not under oath and audio taped. Okay.
Lie detector test.
The other issue is whether or not Mueller will subpoena the president, where this is going, and if he does subpoena the president, will we have a constitutional crisis? Will we have the president and his legal team challenge that subpoena?
If they're objective, we can work something out. If they're not, then we have to shake hands and basically go into a litigation over, do they have the power to subpoena? And I think they lost that power. This is a completely tainted investigation.
The power to subpoena, Alan Dershowitz was on CNN squaring off against Jeffrey Toobin in that little legal theater that they do. Yeah. And here's what Dershowitz said about this moving towards subpoena. You heard Giuliani now, one of the president's lawyers, say he doesn't think they have the power to subpoena the president. Here's Dershowitz.
I think right now the president's legal team should have no interest in answering these enormously broad questions voluntarily. They'll get the same broad questions artfully asked at a grand jury, but at least they'll be able to challenge, A, the entire process of subpoenaing the president. They'll lose on that. Second,
you think that they will lose on that?
I think they will lose on that. I think they will win on some areas of questioning. For example, why did you fire? What was your motive? What was your reasoning? I don't think you can question presidential acts that are covered by Article 2. But
you can't get to intent.
I don't think you can, or motive. But I think what you can get to is what the president's most vulnerable on, and that is business dealings before he became president. No court is going to deny the grand jury the power to get to those questions. So the irony is those questions that he has the best legal right to prevent are not the most important questions, whereas the ones he has no legal right to prevent are the most damaging questions.
Now, Toobin disagrees. Toobin is a former federal prosecutor, but doesn't exactly strike me as having a great legal mind. Disagrees. He suggests that they do have the power to subpoena, but this is a matter that will ultimately be litigated because it is in some dispute, so it probably would go right to the Supreme Court for a ruling if Mueller moved to subpoena and the president and his legal team challenged that subpoena. But let's say he does.
Challenges the subpoena?
Well, let's say he gets subpoenaed.
Okay.
And let's say that the subpoena is upheld and the president is compelled to testify. Then does he invoke the Fifth? And then you get the question of invoking the Fifth versus answering questions under oath under some kind of immunity deal. Well, the president doesn't want to take the fifth. Toobin argues there's not going to be any immunity deal.
Of course he is. Let me tell you why he'll give the president immunity, because immunity doesn't apply in an impeachment proceeding. And no matter what Rosenstein says, you're not going to get a reversal of the Justice Department suddenly say, when the president is Trump, we've changed our mind. Now you can indict him. Now you can prosecute him. So he is at no risk of being indicted or prosecuted. He is at risk of being impeached. And if he foolishly takes the fifth, he gets to be asked all these same questions under immunity, and all the answers can be used against him in an impeachment proceeding. So I have to tell you, Jeffrey, you're an A+ student, but boy, on this one, taking the fifth, I'm not even going to give you your grade. It won't happen.
Yeah, taking the fifth would be political evidence of guilt. It's not evidence in a court of law for the purposes of conviction of guilt, obviously. But the impeachment, you have to remember, is a political proceeding. I can't stress this enough. And that's what the concern is here. There's very little concern that Trump is going to be criminally prosecuted for anything, now or after his term. This is all about impeachment. So the idea of testifying under an immunity deal, that's even a little concerning politically. Taking the fifth, being compelled to testify and then taking the fifth, how is that going to be played in the political world? How would that be used, say, Pelosi and her mob took control of the House? How would that be prosecuted in the arena of public opinion after November? That's the calculus you have to understand. So Toobin talking about, that he's going to be held criminally accountable or they're going to move. No, there's not going to be any immunity deal because this is about potentially prosecuting him criminally. That's nonsense. Mueller isn't interested in that. Nobody is interested in that except, the most punitive anti-Trump people. Not only do we want him impeached, we want him put in prison. It's not going to happen. But impeachment is a possibility. Certainly pursuing it's a possibility. And an immunity deal, much less taking the fifth. Totally agree with Dershowitz. In the public's mind, evidence of a guilty heart.
312-642-5600 is our turnkey.pro answer line.
Dave and Racine, you're on Chicago's Morning Answer.
Greetings. I got a little different viewpoint. Maybe Trump should meet with Mueller, except it should be at Gitmo, and Trump is asking the questions while Mueller is tied to a chair, his feet in a pan of water, and an aide is discharging a defibrillator into the top of Mueller's head, like I saw in an episode of 24.
All right.
Plan this out.
Thanks for the call, Dave. We'll send that up to Trump's legal team to
review. Yeah.
Well, to run that by Mueller, see if he'd be up for that. All right, that's interesting. The other thing, Rudy Giuliani, he took a very different posture towards Mueller than he did Comey in that interview, and he knows Jim Comey, he knows Bob Mueller, he knows both. He had very nice things to say, generally speaking, of Mueller. He had vicious things to say about Comey, who he previously hired for positions. Listen to Giuliani on Comey.
And James Comey seems to be their core of their investigation. He's telling the truth. The president isn't. I know James Comey. I know the president. Sorry, Jim, you're a liar, a disgraceful liar. Every FBI agent in America has his head down because of you. It would have been good for God if God had kept you out of being head of the FBI.
Dear Lord.
And it continued.
Good for God?
Yeah, maybe that was a bit of a
misstatement. No, I want to hear more.
Maybe good for the FBI. I don't know. I don't know.
He took it to a whole new level.
And it continued. Yeah.
That appointment alone, sir, tells me that this is a biased lead.
Let me give you two different views of Bob. What do I know of Bob that I could testify to under oath? A patriot, an extraordinarily good man.
Served his country.
Did a good job with the FBI. I don't think he would be affected by malice or prejudice. However, I don't have an explanation for the people that he hired. Not all of them. I've dealt with them very briefly. I think they're very professional.
Weissman?
I didn't deal with Weissman much. Quarles, very good man.
You disturbed by his record?
Yeah, but, he'd probably be disturbed by mine, too. So I have an open mind about Bob. I don't about Comey. I've closed my mind about Comey. I know Comey much better. I have the indignity, fortunately, of having hired him for his first big job, and I'm embarrassed that I hired him.
Wow. I mean, he really sounds like he was sent out by President Trump to hit on all these talking points. Which is, that's his attorney. He's the perfect person for this position.
I think there's a sense that this is coming to a head, that Mueller is moving towards subpoena, and I think that there has been a pivot from the Trump White House in terms of how they're going to approach this both legally and publicly, and the combination of the two. And, Giuliani has as much PR savvy as anybody in that White House, and so he's an ideal guy to go forward, plus obviously with the legal background. Candace in DuPage.
Hi, good morning. I want to make a couple points. It's coming to a head because the Freedom Caucus is trying to impeach Rosenstein. So, and plus all the things that have come out about the Democrats, they don't want that stuff leaked. And they, still refuse to give over all those, 30-some-thousand emails, from the FBI. But the second point is, where the hell is Paul Ryan? Where are the GOP? What is with these gutless? I mean, the reason why this even happened to begin with is because of Paul Ryan and Bob Corker and John McCain, who are gleeful about this special counsel. It makes me sick. And let me tell you something. If they impeach this president, I swear I will never vote GOP again, because those people let this happen.
Well,
they were in on it with the DNC, in my opinion.
Well, thanks for the call, Candace, but Trump allowed this to happen, too. It's a point that Giuliani made, sort of. He didn't say Trump let this happen, but Comey should have been fired on day one. We said that here on this show.
Yep.
After everything
he was sworn in, that should have been his first business.
After everything you saw and we discussed during the campaign, how do you leave this guy in there?
He was erratic. I mean, his behavior was erratic, and then what he was saying, it was crazy. There was no level of trust there with him.
And how was the special prosecutor? What was the impetus for the special prosecutor and for Sessions' recusal and the chain of events that set off? It was Comey leaking that memo to his Columbia law professor. Jim on 294.
Hey, how are you?
Good.
I wanted to give a more complete view of the campaign finance violation issue. I only heard, and maybe Giuliani did cover this, but I don't think he did last night. First, campaign funds, which he did cover, cannot be used, to pay non-campaign expenses, which is what he said. He says no campaign violation.
Right.
But the second piece is that non-campaign funds, which we know this was, can't be used to pay campaign expenses, because then you exceed campaign funding limits.
Right.
Well, this is an incident or event that arose more than 10 years ago, and in fact, there were issues well before he even announced he was running for president, meaning there were, 2 or 3 times she denied there was ever relationships, et cetera. It's easily provable that this is an incident that did not rise out of the campaign.
Well, the problem is she was paid off 16 days before the election. Who cares when they had their incident? It was 10, 20 years. Who cares? It was 16 days.
It completely matters under the law, Amy. It completely matters. This is a non-campaign expense paid for by non-campaign funds. It's not a campaign violation.
Yeah, I agree with you, Jim. And this is why I think
why is the left chomping at the bit?
Well, because they're chomping at the bit about everything. I mean, they're trying to grab onto anything they can use to prosecute Trump, and obviously they're going to take it in a light least favorable to him. But, Jim, your point is a good one about this whole matter being initiated well before he was a candidate for president. The payment, though, 16 days before the election, here's what an FEC prosecution or investigation could look like, though. You have to have an investigation into the context of the payment. And so, you can make the timeline argument, and it's a good one, but we don't know all the details that surrounded that payment a little more than 2 weeks before the election, as Amy said. And so there's a potential nexus, between that payment and the campaign that would trigger campaign finance rules and regulations, and maybe the FEC could make out a case. I think it's tenuous, but we don't know what we don't know about those conversations and that contextual information. And so I just would caution restraint in that area of what we don't know that may ultimately come to light. But generally speaking, I think Jim makes a good point.
You're listening to Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan Proft and Amy Jacobson on AM 560. The Answer.
On AM 560, The Answer, we talk about the important issues that affect your world. Things like the economy, education, and foreign policy. There's always so much going on in the news that we don't always have the time to focus in and talk about the big ideas behind the important issues. Enter Upstream Ideas online at upstream-ideas.com. Upstream Ideas, in partnership with the Illinois Opportunity Project, provides the kind of information that informs the policy discussions happening here on AM 560. At Upstream Ideas, you'll broaden the debate, move beyond partisan assumptions, and challenge accepted beliefs. Upstream Ideas goes against the current and thinks upstream. Go online now at upstream-ideas.com. That's upstream-ideas.com. You'll be armed with new information and fresh perspectives to help encourage you to make the state of Illinois and the United States of America a bit freer, a bit more just, and a bit more civilized. Upstream-ideas.com.
Let's have some fun and make some money for a good club, the 100 Club of Chicago golf outing. That is Thursday, June 14th at the beautiful Bolingbrook Golf Club. The foursomes are $1,196. The proceeds go to the 100 Club of Chicago. They're there to help families of first responders who are killed in the line of duty. They do just wonderful work. They've been around for 50-plus years, and they need your help. So we have a business benefactor program. Here's the deal. If you're a business owner or manager, marketing director, $1,196. Proceeds go to 100 Club. But as a way of saying thank you, we give you 25 60-second commercials that run right here. It's a $3,000 value only for $1,196. Call 312-363-6680. That's 312-363-6680.
And you'll be treated to my Dorfon Golf impersonation on the first tee.
Oh, what's okay?
So you remember Dorfon Golf?
Yeah. Dorfon Golf?
Yeah, you remember him?
Yeah.
Tim Conway?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
I don't know if
do
you
have
can,
it?
I don't know if you
can you do it right now?
Well, I mean, it's sort of a physical thing. You remember Dorfon Golf?
Yeah. Dorfon Golf.
I don't know if you can still do that though, because vertically challenged. So I don't know if that makes fun of Peter Dinklage or something. But yeah, so you can look forward to that. We'll have more Dorfon Golf later in the show.
Call 312-363-6680. Spots are filling up quickly.
On AM 560, The Answer. Your opinion counts. And we want to know how you feel about the news stories we're talking about each and every day. Make sure to vote in the M13 Graphics Opinion Express poll at 560theanswer.com. Listen for today's poll question at 10:30 a.m., 12:30 p.m., and 3:30 p.m. And hear the results each evening at 5:30. It's the M13 Graphics Opinion Express poll on 560theanswer.com.
5:57, a check of the roads now in the Alarm Detection Systems Traffic Center. Here's Jim Talamonte.
Thanks, Mike. Got some flooding in Northbrook. Willow is down to one lane in both directions at Shermer due to the water. Also have flight delays due to the weather. Edens is wet, but otherwise okay at the moment. Kennedy, 25 minutes, O'Hare to downtown, up on 26. About Eisenhower, 38 minutes, 390 to downtown, up on 31. Stevenson, 41 minutes, 355 to Lakeshore Drive. Ryan, 24 minutes, 95th to downtown. I-57, 20 minutes, I-80 to merge. Bishop Ford, 40. Crashed at Sibley in the left lane, and it's heavy 115th to the merge. On Adams Tollway jam from Tri-State to Kennedy. Traffic service of Napa. Nothing like a little rain to remind you that it's time to change your windshield wipers. Luckily, your quick stop at Napa, away from new wiper blades and a streakless windshield. Stop by your local Napa this month for great deals on Napa Exact Fit wiper blades. Quality parts, helpful people. That's Napa know-how. Traffic answers when you need them most. I'm Jim Talamonte on AM 560, The Answer.
Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan and Amy continues after a full update from Fox News and your official Chicagoland weather forecast from the 1 Hour Heating and Air Conditioning Weather Center with our meteorologist, Alexandra Rabb.
Cloudy today with a couple of showers and a thunderstorm and a high of 73. And tonight, a couple of thunderstorms around and some severe, considerably cloudy and breezy. These thunderstorms can bring flooding downpours, large hail, and damaging wind gusts and a low of 61. I'm Alex Rabb on AM 560, The Answer.
Currently 63 at O'Hare. The news, a service of Discover Student Loans, figuring out how to cover college costs. Discover Student Loans, one of the top private student loan lenders in the country with great rates, zero fees. Plus, students can earn a cash reward for their good grades. Visit discoverstudentloans.com to apply today. Limitations do apply. 5:59. And here are the stories we're following this morning on AM 560. The Answer, a flash flood watch remains in effect until 10 a.m. Cleanup underway after severe thunderstorms tore through Chicagoland yesterday evening and overnight. No one in custody after 5 were shot in a drive-by shooting on Chicago's west side. An investigation continues after a deadly stabbing this week in south suburban Ford Heights. Mayor Emanuel now facing another major challenger with more experience in government than he has. Chicago CEO Paul Vallas is now in the race for mayor. Rockies crushed the Cubs 11-2. Cardinals clipped the White Sox. WIND Chicago News Time 6.
Michael Cohen was reimbursed. I'm Dave Anthony, Fox News, and President Trump just tweeted the money had nothing to do with his campaign. $130,000 to keep porn star Stormy Daniels quiet about claims she had sex with the president years before he was elected.
It's going to turn out to be perfectly legal.
One of the newest members of his legal team, Rudy Giuliani, tells Fox's Sean Hannity the president repaid that $130,000 to Cohen.
They funneled it through the law firm.
Funneled through the law firm, and the president repaid it.
Oh, I didn't know he did.
Yeah.
There's no campaign finance law.
Zero.
Giuliani went on to tell Fox News later the president was covering some of Cohen's expenses, but didn't know that included the payment to Daniels. In Washington, Jill Nato, Fox News.
Giuliani also calls the special counsel's Russia probe.
This is a completely tainted investigation.
He wants a 2 to 3 hour presidential interview on a narrow set of questions. Robert Mueller wants about 50 answered and hinted at a grand jury subpoena. Stay tuned. That's how President Trump ended a tweet last night about American prisoners North Korea may be ready to set free. Fox's Simon Owen monitoring live from London.
Dave, the president's comments following news reports in South Korea suggesting 3 Americans being held at a North Korean labor camp have been moved to a hotel on the outskirts of the capital, Pyongyang, prompting speculation they may soon be freed. The State Department says it can't confirm the reports. Kim Dong-chul is a pastor who was arrested 3 years ago. Tony Kim and Kim Hak-song were working at a North Korean university when they were detained last year. Dave?
Simon, at least 6 police officers injured in Connecticut in an explosion last night.
Police were called out because a man was barricading his wife inside the couple's home. And the officers were trying to talk to that man, coax him about coming out. And that is when that barn explosion happened.
That's Amanda Rouse with Fox 61 TV in North Haven. The wife escaped. The man got away, still at large. Fox News, fair and balanced.
When you're hiring, you don't want to waste time sorting through dozens of irrelevant resumes. You want an efficient way to get to a short list of qualified candidates. That's why you need Indeed.com. Post a job in minutes. Set up screener questions based on your job requirements. Then zero in on qualified candidates using an intuitive online dashboard. Discover why 3 million businesses use Indeed for hiring. Post a job today at Indeed.com/hire. Search for greatness. Search Indeed.
Hi, I'm Darla from Cintas.
Oh, thank goodness you're here. We have so much to do. I need fire extinguishers, right?
We'll place them for you and be out for regular inspection.
Great. And what about my new hires?
We'll get them into uniforms and keep them looking sharp.
What about this first aid cabinet?
Fully stocked.
It wasn't this morning.
It is now. And so are the restrooms.
Wow, Cintas really seems to know what we need.
You said it.
Oh, I'm ready!
Learn how Cintas can help you get ready for the workday. Visit Cintas.com.
Do you want your basement to be dry most of the time? If so, Permaseal is not the company for you. At Permaseal, we believe your basement should be dry all the time, no matter how hard it rains. Hi, I'm Roy Spencer, president of Permaseal. I hear story after story of homeowners who say their basement only leaks when it rains. Well, you don't worry about your living room or bedroom getting wet when it rains, and you should feel the same way about your basement. Just call 800-421-SEAL. We offer a free estimate, no haggle pricing, and a price assurance guarantee, so you can rest assured that you're getting the best value. Your basement is already dry most of the time, but if you want your basement dry all the time, you know who to call. 800-421-SEAL. Permaseal has earned an A+ rating from the BBB and has received their 2016 Torch Award for Marketplace Ethics. That's 800-421-SEAL or visit permaseal.net.
Someday, someone you love will ask for help. And although Lake County Right to Life is not a crisis center, it is an educational and political organization involved in educating the public about current life issues and legislations. They take an active part in both the educational and lobbying aspects of the Right to Life movement. They formed the Lake County PAC to actively work in helping elect local Lake County candidates who are pro-life, pro-family legislators. These people support life-affirming legislation. Please help the cause. A crisis program center saves lives one at a time. Legislation saves thousands of lives. Lake County Right to Life supports women, mothers and fathers, unborn babies, families, and the elderly. Good public policy is supposed to protect the most vulnerable and does not impose on a taxpayer to pay for the lesser good, namely abortion. That takes everybody working together. For donations or information, visit lcrtl.org. That's lcrtl.org.
Attention to this important announcement. If you have ever taken prescriptions like Adderall and are concerned about the side effects and high cost, now there's a new all-natural smart pill available that's the closest thing to a safe, real-life, limitless pill. It's so powerful and effective that students, athletes, and execs all want to get their hands on it. It's called Limitless, a Coastline product, and it's truly remarkable. It can help skyrocket your concentration, improve your creative thinking, enhance your memory, and make you feel like a better version of yourself. Call and find out how to get a free bottle of Limitless and experience this firsthand. It's not a question of whether this powerful pill works, but how great it can make you feel. Take it and watch it go to work. Limitless may be the best-kept secret available today.
To find out how to get your free bottle of Limitless, call 800-605-1653. That's 800-605-1653. Get your free bottle for a limited time. Call now, 800-605-1653, 800-605-1653.
Here's the cold, hard truth about hard water in our homes. Nearly 90% of America is affected by it. Hard water contains harsh minerals that can dry out skin and hair. Hard water can raise our electricity bill by up to 48%. It even creates buildup in pipes that can lead to pathogenic bacteria growth. Stressed out yet? Don't be. Salt-based water softeners can solve all your hard water issues. Get the full scoop at alittlesalt.org.
You know, I've been getting a lot of feedback from social media. You want to hear some quotes? Every time I hear that annoying voice of Jimmy from Zipa, I want to tear my ears off my head. You see the hypocrisy here, people? First of all, you got to listen to my commercial for maybe 60 seconds. But what about that person snoring next to you all night long? That person sleeping next to you, they can't turn your mouth or your nose down, can they? No, they got to go sleep on the couch. Get this fixed. ZYPPAH.com. Zipa.com.
This hourly segment is brought to you by the IRS Radio Hour with attorney Stephen Leahy every Sunday afternoon at 5 on AM 560 The Answer.
This is Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan Proft and Amy Jacobson on AM 560 The Answer.
Good morning, Dan and Amy. We were talking about Rudy Giuliani's wide-ranging interview with Sean Hannity last night on Trump administration legal challenges, both of the Stormy Daniels nature and Michael Cohen related, as well as the larger Mueller investigation and the prospects of President Trump being subpoenaed by Mueller to answer Mueller and his team's questions. President Trump tweeting about the revelation by Giuliani. Now,
the bombshell admission?
Okay.
That's what I call it.
Yeah.
That President Trump paid Michael Cohen the $130,000, which in turn Michael Cohen then paid Stormy Daniels off.
Not exactly.
That Trump reimbursed Cohen the $130,000 for the Stormy Daniels hush money? Yeah. I mean, how do you want to?
I want to do it in the order in which it happened.
Okay.
Which that's how it happened, according to Giuliani.
Yeah, right.
I know you're so focused on your hysterical CNN quality chyrons, you don't want to get the timing right, but I think the timing is important. Trump tweeting, Michael Cohen, an attorney, received a monthly retainer not from the campaign and having nothing to do with the campaign, from which he entered into, through reimbursement, a private contract between two parties known as an NDA, non-disclosure. These agreements are very common among celebrities and people of wealth. In this case, it is in full force and effect and will be used in arbitration for damages against Miss Clifford, Stormy Daniels. The agreement was used to stop the false and extortion accusations made by her about an affair, despite already having signed a detailed letter admitting that there was no affair. Prior to its violation by Miss Clifford and her attorney, this was a private agreement. Money from the campaign or campaign contributions played no role in this transaction.
Well, I wasn't the only one surprised by the revelation that was made. Now they're walking it back. Even Sean Hannity, listen to him.
Having something to do with paying some Stormy Daniels woman $130,000, I mean, which is going to turn out to be perfectly legal. That money was not campaign money. Sorry, I'm giving you a fact now that you don't know. It's not campaign money. No campaign finance violation. So
they funneled it through the law firm.
Funneled through the law firm, and the president repaid it.
Oh, I didn't know he did.
Yep.
Oh, okay. And now this morning, Giuliani's backpedaling a little bit, saying that the money was paid. Hold on one second. Telling Fox News that Trump reimbursed the money, but Trump didn't know what it was for. Where clearly he said yesterday, to me, it sounded like it was to reimburse the money that Cohen paid to Stormy Daniels.
Well, not exactly. Giuliani left that open because when he's on the Cohen payment and reimbursement, he suggested he kind of left it open-ended what Trump knew at the time that this private transaction he describes in his tweet was conceived.
I was talking about the $130,000 payment,
right.
The settlement payment, which is a very regular thing for lawyers to do. The question there was, the only possible violation there would be, was it a campaign finance violation, which usually would result in a fine, by the way, not this big stormtroopers coming in and breaking down his apartment and breaking down his office. That was money that was paid by his lawyer, the way I would do out of his law firm funds or whatever funds, doesn't matter. The president reimbursed that over a period of several months.
He had said, I distinctly remember that he did it on his own.
He did?
Without asking.
Look, I don't know. I haven't investigated that. No reason to dispute that. No reason to dispute his recollection. Right. I like Michael a lot. You like Michael a lot.
A long time.
I feel very bad he's been victimized like this. The president feels even worse. The fact is, just trust me, they're going to come up with no violations there.
All right. You meaning the
yeah, payments are perfectly legal.
Let me go back to the main crux of it.
All documented.
Well, and by the way, if there was a campaign finance violation investigation, an FEC investigation, if you think the Mueller investigation is taking interminably
a long time,
you have the FEC. President Trump would be well into and out of his second term before the FEC would reach a conclusion on this matter, I would suggest.
But it's counter to what both Michael Cohen and the president have said publicly. I mean, Cohen first said that he was never reimbursed, that he did this on the president's behalf because he's his friend and he didn't, want his reputation muddied. And then President Trump flat out lied to a reporter and said, I don't know what you're talking about.
Do you know about the $130,000 payment to Stormy Daniels? Then why did Michael Cohen make this if there was no truth or allegation?
Well, you have to ask Michael Cohen. Michael's my attorney, and you'll have to ask Michael.
Yeah, they were less than forthright with the press and by extension the American people, no question.
But does that sit well with
By
anyone?
the way, so is Stormy.
It just erodes my trust a little bit in the president.
So is Stormy Daniels. I mean, not that you should
Stormy
hold her to. That's not. She's like the moral paragon of virtue here. But yeah, I mean, President Trump points out in terms of the underlying alleged affair that she has also said both they had an affair and that they didn't have an affair.
Right. Her attorney was on with my girlfriend Don Lemon.
I don't care if you're on the left. I don't care if you're on the far. You line up. You should be disgusted by what has happened in connection with the lies that you have been told over the last 3 months about this payment. There's no way to dress this up. You can try to put lipstick on the pig morning, noon, and night, and it's still going to be a pig, Don.
But enough about Stormy Daniels.
This is disgusting what we're hearing.
So
the outrage.
I agree. I'm disgusted across the board. All parties concerned.
Yeah, me too. It's messy, it's ugly, and I want it to go away.
Joe in Hoffman Estates.
Hey, Dan, I had a question. You're an attorney. Is there any does this ever wrap up? I mean, can this just keep going on? And can they just change what they're investigating at any time?
Yes, this is going to last the rest of your natural life, Joe. I hate to break it to you.
We're in our third gestation period, and we're still going strong.
No, there is no definitive timeline or finite period by which they have to wrap up the investigation. There isn't.
So doesn't it seem like it's just something that he's going to last until the midterms, or drop a bomb in the midterms, or during the president's next election?
I would be stunned if this doesn't go to the midterms. Yeah, I at least to the midterms. Yeah.
Then it's political.
Well, there's no question there's a political element to it. Thanks for the call, Joe. I mean, there's no question there is. Now, it doesn't mean there's no substantive elements to it as well, but the extension and the mutations, yeah. I mean, there's a political part of this. It's he's pursuing impeachment. That's what Mueller is pursuing.
Right.
And that means he is essentially arguing. I mean, I know there's this underlying play to prove up obstruction, or to set the perjury trap, as people have said, but ultimately this is political because the goal is political. The goal is not the pursuit of justice. The goal here is impeachment.
Well, Rudy Giuliani, his attorney, Trump's new part of his team, was the mouthpiece, I think, for President Trump last night, and he sent a message, pretty much saying, and he did say this. Jared Kushner, he's disposable. Men are disposable. But don't you dare go after Ivanka.
Ivanka Trump? I think I would get on my Charger and go right into their offices with a lance if they go after Ivanka. True. Now, if they do Ivanka, which I doubt they will, the whole country will turn on them. They're going after his daughter.
About what?
About anything. I mean, going through putting a raid on her. Well, they raided Michael Cohen's office. They might raid her office.
Well, there was what's the issue with her?
He's just let it known that he wants to make sure that she stays out of this. Don't touch the daughter.
Yeah, okay. Pete in Montgomery.
Good morning, Dan, Amy. So let's put this a little bit in context. Donald Trump is worth $10 billion. This payment to an actress, Stormy Daniels, was $130,000. That's equivalent to you and I making $100,000 a year and buying a $13 lunch. It's entirely possible he was completely unaware of this payment. Not probable, but possible, just because of the small number it represents.
Yeah, but not
Attorney.
Not in the context of that payment being made 16 days before an election and the political implications of Stormy Daniels during that campaign and with respect to that payment. That seems impossible.
So her extortionary payment happened 16 days before an election, and it's 16 days before an election. It hits his attorney's desk, and he says, "I'm going to handle this. We'll address it after the chaos is ended."
Maybe
it's entirely possible he didn't know about it until well after it was done, and it was just handled. Now, I'm not saying this. I'm saying it's possible.
Well, anything's
probable.
possible. I mean,
but I don't think there's any written correspondence.
Thanks for the call, Pete.
Hopefully, they had a conversation face to face.
I mean, anything is possible. This what's possible. Fine. The standard in a criminal proceeding is reasonable doubt, right? This is not a criminal proceeding. So let's at least not increase the standard beyond reasonable doubt to whatever is possible in the great expanse of the universe. That's a little silly. Reasonably, the kind of the reasonable man standard. Of course, Trump knew about it in some form or fashion. It was too politically sensitive. Right. You're right. It's not a financial issue. It's too politically sensitive for him to not have known about it. Michael in Waukegan.
Hi, good morning. I just, I hear a lot of talk about how long the investigation's been going on and everything, and, trying to find anything they can on President Trump. And it just reminds me of in 1994 when President Clinton was originally investigated for the Whitewater deal, but it took 5 years before he was impeached, before Ken Starr did anything, and it was over, what he did sexually in the Oval Office and then lying about that.
Yes,
so,
right.
So I think we got to remember that there's a precedent for going after anything they possibly can, and a precedent for a 5-year investigation. And that's all I wanted to say.
No question about it. Thanks for coming. There's no question about it, and that's the point. That's why you had so many people like Andy McCarthy opposed to a special prosecutor in the first place, because of these open-ended investigations where it's totally politicized because of the respective partisan interests, and you go off onto whatever.
You end up with a blue dress.
Well, you go whatever tangent you can go on to get the target. This isn't about, as I said before, impeachment and the pursuit of justice are not mutually exclusive. But when impeachment is your goal, you're big game hunting, you're head hunting. You're not trying to find kind of the truth of the underlying important issue or the important predicate for the original investigation. And that's where we're at effectively now.
I just don't like being lied to.
Yeah.
Is that what this is about? You're angry because you got lied to? Is that why my chicken dinner's drying out in the oven? Hey, they lie to everybody. They lie to the fish. But that doesn't give you any special right to do what you did today.
That's right, and you should listen to Robert Duvall, Amy, because as it didn't justify Michael Douglas's crime spree, it will not justify yours.
Oh, okay.
You're forewarned. Jeff in Dundee.
Oh, Dan, Amy, I don't understand. She took a check. She accepted a check.
Yeah.
She endorsed the check. She deposited the check.
I get how
Put
a
me
check
on the
works.
jury. Put me on the jury. She's done over and out. It's a deal. She took. Well, I don't understand why we're still talking about this.
Well,
'cause
Jeff,
she wants to resurrect her career, which she has because she's performing at the Admirals Club.
And
June
now
14th, 15th,
now
16th.
she's
Jeff.
now she's upset because she didn't ask for more money.
That's right.
Too bad.
Jeff,
So sad.
her market value has increased exponentially, and she would like more
Right,
cash. What's wrong with that?
Yeah.
Well, she's getting more
Anyway.
cash. She's
Thanks
on
for the
this-
call, Jeff. I get your point.
What's it called? The Make America Horny Again tour? Can I say that?
Yes.
That's what
Yes.
the tour is called. And I
Make
told
America
you we
Horny
should
Again.
go June 14th to the Admiral Club or Admiral Theater.
June
Excuse me.
14th is our golf outing.
Well, we're going
I'm
to be
sorry,
a little
Amy.
late.
Amy was unable to attend the golf outing. She won't be here. She's
Well,
at the
bring
Admiral Club.
I'll bring Stormy. She could be part of our foursome. Hey. After they're done at 6 a.m.
If you bring
And the-
Stormy out to Bolingbrook,
What do you
we'll
think
wait
Jeff
for you.
Reisman was?
We'll wait for you to tee off if you bring Stormy.
This is the morning show more Chicago radio listeners are choosing. This is Chicago's Morning Answer on AM 560. The Answer.
Coming up, somebody else is vying to be mayor of Chicago. I'm mayoral shopping, so let's take him for a spin. First, here's your forecast. Soggy one, soggy start to the day, just a mess out there. We're going to have rain and possible thunderstorms on and off throughout the day, depending on where you live. A little bit cooler than yesterday, a high only of 72 degrees. Tonight, a few evening thunderstorms. Some could be severe. A low of 60 degrees. And for tomorrow, Friday, mostly cloudy in the morning. Some clouds in the afternoon, but no rain. A high of 73 degrees. Let's get into the Alarm Detection Systems Traffic Center. Here's a very busy man this morning, Jim Telemonte.
Yes, Amy and Dan, we've got fires blazing. One in Stickney. This is affecting the area around 41st and Oak Park Avenue, and one in Barrington Hills on Oak Knoll west of Old Hart. Lake Villa, Grass Lake Road is blocked between 83 and near Painted Lake Boulevard with a stalled train. Travel times are high. Kennedy, looking at a travel time of 40 minutes O'Hare to downtown. The left lane's blocked at Division after a crash damaged the wall and some concrete in that area earlier this morning. Outbound, it's 30 minutes downtown to the airport. Edens, 22 minutes Lake Hook to the junction, outbound 20. Eisenhower, 46 minutes, 390 to downtown. Outbound 33 at Stevenson. Already an hour and 4 minutes, 355 to Lakeshore Drive. Ryan is 28 minutes, 95 to downtown. I-57, 23 minutes, I-80 to the Merge, Bishop 432. We have delays on the eastbound Adams Tollway from the Tri-State to the Kennedy. Jim Talamonte in the Alarm Detection Systems Traffic Center.
A friend of mine just sent me a video of Stormy in Nashville last month.
Oh, can I see?
Yeah, here you go.
Let me see. Are her eyelashes real?
She's dancing, actually.
Let's see.
She's not just-
She's flexible.
She's not just
She
a
contortionist, Woody.
She's not just a plastic face. Americans every tax bracket got a tax cut thanks to the tax bill signed into law last year. The economy is growing, wages are rising, and Americans are feeling is in Illinois. Americans are feeling better about the future. And you've got more money to spend on what's important to you and your priorities. It is your money, after all. But Democrats in Congress who voted against the tax cuts are promising to raise your taxes if they win in November. They want to take your money back to spend on their priorities. Only you can stop them. To find out how much more of your money you get to keep instead of sending it to Washington, D.C., go to taxcutswork.com now. There's an easy-to-use calculator, and it will tell you how much money the new tax cuts are saving you this year. Check your savings at taxcutswork.com. Then sign a letter to Congress telling them to keep their hands off your tax cut savings. Go to taxcutswork.com because the money you're saving is yours. Go to taxcutswork.com, check your savings, and let Congress know you want to keep your savings.
Thousands of doctors, health specialists, and professionals recommend Balance of Nature as a way of improving their health. Listen to a few unsolicited success stories from doctors that use Balance of Nature as well.
Scientific research has shown that many cancers and lifestyle diseases can be prevented with a diet rich in fruits and vegetables. This prevention comes from the phytochemicals in the plants. I take Balance of Nature because I know, I've seen it in my lab, and I know that it works. I've seen the immune response increase, I've seen your DNA repair capacity increase, and I've seen DNA protection. And that, to me, as a scientist, rings so true.
For a limited time, use discount code CHICAGO to receive a 50% discount on your first preferred whole health system and have it shipped to you free. Call 1-800-246-8751. That's 1-800-246-8751. Or go online to balanceofnature.com and use discount code CHICAGO.
We live in exciting times. The rapid evolution of technology in industrial robotic automation systems offers a multitude of solutions designed to give manufacturers a competitive advantage. From ergonomics, quality control, and the need to meet increased production goals while improving the lives of everybody on the factory floor, industrial robotic automation can mean increased profitability and higher quality jobs. Matrix Industrial Automation has built a reputation as an industry leader in developing, building, and installing a wide range of turnkey robotic automation systems. Manufacturers big and small, local and worldwide, depend on Matrix to deliver the most optimal and robust industrial automation systems with improved ROI in mind. Nearly 2 decades of experience and hundreds of installed systems is why Matrix Industrial Automation, headquartered in Bartlett, Illinois, are the industrial automation experts. For information or to schedule a free automation consultation, visit matrixindustrialautomation.com or call 847-841-8260. That's matrixindustrialautomation.com.
Your local 1 Hour Heating and Air Conditioning knows how miserable it feels when your AC goes out. You want it fixed fast, fixed right, and get a fast quote. Unlike some companies, we don't give you a quote until we actually see what the problem is. Then we'll give you our straightforward price and always stand by our work. Right now, get savings on any AC repair. Call 855-1-HOUR.
Your comfort is just a call away. Call 1 Hour.
Terms and conditions may apply. Call for details. Independently owned and operated. Licensed in the respective state or county.
Shoot Point Blank is Chicago's leading shooting range and firearms store. Featuring 20 climate-controlled shooting lanes, complete retail store, and firearm education classes for all experience levels. Whether you're a new or expert shooter, now you can experience the Shoot Point Blank difference and see for yourself why so many people are talking about Shoot Point Blank.
I can tell you, I was impressed as soon as I walked through the door. The employees were really helpful, very patient, and knowledgeable, too.
My wife and I had a wonderful experience. We felt very comfortable and informed. Brett was very friendly and respectful, and he answered all my questions. Because I'm new to pistols, I'm grateful he was patient and helped me decide what to buy for my new firearm.
For a huge selection of new and used firearms, ammo, and state-of-the-art indoor shooting range, visit them in Hodgkins, Mokina, Naperville, or Merrillville. Or check out shootpointblank.com. Experience the difference. Shoot Point Blank.
AM 560, The Answer.
It's coming up Thursday, June 14th, our 100 Club of Chicago golf outing. It's our annual event, and we have a great deal if you're a business owner. Get a foursome, get your buddies, get your friends, get the best golfers you have in your company, and come out with a day for golf with us. It's $1,196. We have a 7 a.m. shotgun start and a 2:30 afternoon shotgun start, a lunch at 12:30, which is great. Dan's going to do some dancing. You're going to do your Stormy Daniels dance.
Well,
right?
if you bring Stormy Daniels.
Right.
Although I could do like my Marilyn Monroe to Kennedy that would me to Stormy Daniels as a tribute to her. I could do something like
I
that.
wonder if she golfs.
How
I wonder
much
if that gets in the way of
If
golf.
you could bring Stormy Daniels before her Admiral Club performance to Bolingbrook Golf Club, I wonder how much of a premium that would draw. Let's ask Mike from the north side. Hi, Mike.
Hi, good morning. I'm standing outside my bank right now, waiting for it to open so I can cash in some IRAs. Stormy Daniels and Amy Jacobson together, forget the golf. How much is that going to cost me, Dan? I'll give it to you in cash.
Just give the money to the 100 Club of Chicago. That's who the proceeds go to, the 100 Club of Chicago. And as a way of saying thank you, we've got the best deal ever in advertising in Chicago. It's a $3,000 value for $1,196. What I'm talking about is the 25 one-minute commercials that we will give you as a way of saying thanks to promote your business right here on AM 560. The answer, here's what you do. Call this number. Write it down. 312-363-6680. That's 312-363-6680. Any questions you have about it, just call our sales staff. They are standing by, ready to answer your questions. And spaces are filling up fast, but it's a great day to have fun, hang out with the AM 560 personnel, and raise money for the 100 Club of Chicago.
Here's some highlights from last year's golf outing.
Like about the 100.5, Waldo? Give me the 7-iron. All right. What's this?
It's a 4 and a 3. I couldn't find a 7.
We
Dwarf.
We have a laugh track at each tee.
Exactly.
So that's just to kind of enhance the experience. There's some of Amy's relatives. I didn't know Dorf was Swedish.
Dorf near Nerfen. No,
Yeah.
I think German. I don't know. But Dorf, there was Dorf on golf. It was Tim Conway. The Carol Burnett show is great. Coming up on Chicago's Morning Answer.
No more boys in the Boy Scouts at 6:36.
But first, into the newsroom we go. Here's Mike Scott.
62 degrees. Skies are cloudy, and we have a flash flood watch, which will remain in effect until 10 a.m. this morning. Rudy Giuliani says President Trump wasn't told about the $130,000 payment made to porn actress Stormy Daniels.
Having something to do with paying some Stormy Daniels woman $130,000, I mean, which is going to turn out to be perfectly legal. That money was not campaign money. Sorry, I'm giving you a fact now that you don't know. It's not campaign money. No campaign finance violation. Funneled through law firm, and the president repaid it.
Giuliani also, in an interview with the Washington Post, said he didn't know if Donald Trump distinguished the payment to Daniels from any other matters the president's personal lawyer, Michael Cohen, may have done for him during the campaign. 9 are dead in the crash of a military plane near Savannah, Georgia. The C-130 cargo plane went down yesterday on one of the main highways between Savannah and the cities of Rincon and Shawnee. Attorney General Jeff Sessions adding 35 government attorneys and 18 judges at the southern border to prosecute illegal immigrants.
These are supervisory judges that don't have existing caseloads and will be able to function full-time on moving these cases.
Speaking briefly outside the Justice Department yesterday, Sessions said the government is not going to let the U.S. be overwhelmed by those seeking illegal entry. California reporting the first death in the nation's E. coli outbreak. The latest update from the CDC shows 23 additional cases tied to tainted lettuce. Former President George H.W. Bush is going to stay in the hospital a little longer. Spokesperson saying Wednesday the former president is regaining some strength and doctors in Houston are pleased with his progress. Cleanup is underway after severe storms pound Chicagoland. Storms moving through the city and suburbs, bringing strong winds and quarter-sized hail. Damage throughout the region, including to an apartment building that was evacuated on Chicago's south side after portions of the roof collapsed. The field for the 2019 race for Chicago mayor is now at 6 challengers. Former Chicago Public Schools CEO Paul Vallis formally announced his campaign at the University Club in the Loop. Police in Crystal Lake say a school bus driver was high on prescription pills when he crashed in the school parking lot. McHenry County prosecutors are charging this week 75-year-old Wayne Disparte for driving under the influence. No one on that bus was hurt. Rockies beat the Cubs 11-2. Cardinals clipped the White Sox 3-2 and sweep that two-game interleague set. The Bears are declining to pick up the fifth-year option on wide receiver Kevin White's rookie contract. The news a service of Lowe's. Pro customers at Lowe's save 5% every day when you use your Lowe's business credit account. 5% on all purchases in-store or online. Subject to credit approval, U.S. only. 6:34 and a check of traffic and weather on the way next on AM 560.
Dennis Prager says enough is enough.
There was no collusion. The thing was a witch hunt. It's a disgrace to the United States that Mueller was ever, or anybody would have ever been assigned to investigate something that didn't happen. It is part of the quote-unquote resistance to do anything possible, whether moral or immoral, whether legal or illegal, to get rid of this president.
The Dennis Prager Show. Weekdays at 11, right before Sean Hannity at 2 on AM 560. The Answer.
Get your truly free credit score and free credit monitoring from Credit Karma. Download the Credit Karma app today. Credit Karma. Get knowing.
The following is a paid political announcement.
I'm Mike Braun. Politics shouldn't be a career. We need folks with real-world experience who get the job done and come back home. I've always been a conservative Republican, and I'm running because President Trump paved the way. Together, we'll build the wall, defend our values, and end bad trade deals for American workers. And the only person I'll owe anything to is you. I'm Mike Braun. I approve this message, and I ask for your vote.
Paid for by Mike Braun for Indiana.
I'm Mike Braun. Politics shouldn't be a career. We need folks with real-world experience who get the job done and come back home. I've always been a conservative Republican, and I'm running because President Trump paved the way. Together, we'll build the wall, defend our values, and end bad trade deals for American workers. And the only person I'll owe anything to is you. I'm Mike Braun. I approve this message, and I ask for your vote.
Paid for by Mike Braun for Indiana.
6:35, a check of the roads in the Alarm Detection Systems Traffic Center. Here is Jim Talamonte.
Thanks, Mike. At O'Hare, we've got nearly 200 flights canceled today so far. Just one at Midway. Eden's inbound delays start at Niles Center Road. It's 30 minutes. Lake Cook Junction, outbound 20. On Kennedy, heavy delays from 190 to Division, where the left local lane is blocked, along with the right express lane after an early morning crash and some damage to the concrete there. It's an hour from O'Hare to downtown. 34 minutes from Montrose, 32 in the express. Outbound 32 minutes to O'Hare. Eisenhower, an hour and 2 minutes, 390 to downtown. Outbound 44 minutes. Stevenson, an hour and 4 minutes, 355 to Lakeshore Drive. Ryan, 28 minutes, 95 to downtown. Northbound Tri-State delays. 111th, the 83rd Street toll. Plainfield Road to 47th, then from the Reagan Tollway to North Avenue traffic. Service of Staples. Staples knows running out of ink is no way to do business. Help keep your business working and your printers printing. Go to Staples for a huge selection of ink and toner and find your ink in stock every time and at a low price every day. You can beat every deadline. Staples, it's pro time. Traffic answers when you need them most. I'm Jim Talamonte on AM 560, The Answer.
Chicago's Morning Answer continues next. Your official Chicagoland weather forecast, cloudy, cooler. We'll have a couple of showers, maybe a thunderstorm today. A few evening storms possible as well popping up. Some could be severe with a low of 60. Currently 63 at O'Hare, 55 along the lakefront. Your next news update is at 7. Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan and Amy continues next on AM 560, The Answer.
This hourly segment is brought to you by Papa Nicholas Coffee. Papa Nicholas Coffee, roasted fresh daily in Batavia, Illinois.
Hey, Joe Walsh here. Republicans should talk about the fact that Democrats care more about people in this country illegally than they care about American citizens. We'll talk about that when freedom returns at 5.
Good morning, Dan and Amy. One of my adages, when you erase the lines, you don't get to redraw them. More evidence of the importance of that truism. Boy Scouts to get a new name after 108 years because girls are in. Mark Stein was on with Tucker Carlson last night, and he gave a quick rundown of the last decade of Boy Scout history, leading to the end of the Boy Scouts announced yesterday.
One of the interesting things is that Boy Scouts were so universally presumed to be good that the very name became a synonym for being the good guy.
That's right.
2 years ago, the first time any of us had heard of James Comey, 90% of columnists and commentators said, oh, James Comey is renowned in Washington as a Boy Scout. That's what it meant, the good guy. And the genius of the left is that in Nothing Flat, they turned the good guys into the bad guys. I remember going to the Democrat convention in Los Angeles in the year 2000, and some scouts came out bearing the flag, and the Democrats on the floor booed. And I thought, my God, these guys are crazy. They're booing Boy Scouts. Well, shortly after the decision in the 90s not to have gay scout masters, they got kicked out of church halls. Companies like Disney said that their employees could no longer give the charitable donation through Disney to the Boy Scouts. Basically, the good guys were turned into the bad guys. And that's why they rolled over on transgender scouts, they rolled over on Girl Scouts, and now they've driven a stake through the heart of the institution, and it is dead.
Any disagreement with that? 312-642-5600, turnkey.pro answer line, 64636DA. Turnkey.pro text line. Are you going to put your boys in Scouts, not Boy Scouts, Scouts BSA? I would just drop off the A and emphasize the BS and not Boy Scouts.
Does everybody have to change their resume? I mean, my nephew was an Eagle Scout. He's looking for work. On his resume, it says Boy Scouts. So now do you have to just change it on everything? Do you have to erase that it ever existed?
We don't say change. We say transition.
Well, I got to tell you, I'm all about gender equality, but I died a little inside yesterday when I heard that story. That is an American institution. That is something that is an honor to be a part of as a boy. And we have Girl Scouts. We have Brownies. We have our own thing. We don't need to infiltrate the Boy Scouts.
Yeah, but
so it's a few people that are complaining, little whiners, that change everything. It changed the history of something that's iconic in America.
It's not a few whiners. It's a political movement. It's cultural Marxism. It's a few whiners as the face for a movement. This is the same. I mean, you understand the reason the Girl Scouts don't accept boys.
It's because we don't want boys.
No, it's the opposite. It's because boys don't try and get into girls' clubs. Girls try to get into boys' clubs.
Some boys do. I mean, look at that kid at Northwestern who tried to join a sorority, and thank goodness he got bounced by every house.
Yeah, but I'm not talking about the transitioning, as it were, those with the
transitioning that we're promoting.
Well, those that have a mental illness, frankly. I mean, if we're just going to be honest about it. I'm not talking about those with those sorts of challenges. I'm talking about, men don't try to break into women's groups or women's organizations. For women, it's not the case because you've got the cultural left in the form of the radical feminists, in the form of the cultural Marxists generally, men and women, who want to destroy organizations, the little platoons of democracy that are the building blocks of Western civilization and certainly this country. So it's a uniquely American institution. I would say, you know what? Scouts, BSA, is a uniquely American institution in 2018 America. You know why? Because when you erase the lines, you don't get to redraw them. You just get to keep surrendering. And that's what we've done. And that's what Mark Stein is talking about as he details how quickly the good guys, a gold standard for how a boy becomes a man, and an organization that helps young boys with that transition to manhood, responsible manhood. They're the bad guys now. They're the bad guys because they didn't until the last decade submit to the cultural Marxists, to the mobocracy when it came to gay scoutmasters, and now when it comes to girls being in the Boy Scouts.
If I were a Girl Scout leader, I'd be worried about the future of Girl Scouts, because if girls can join the Boy Scout, or Scouts BSA, then why do you even need a Girl Scout?
Well, why? This concept of the sexes is being eliminated. I mean, Girl Scouts, Boy Scouts, you have men in the girls' bathroom, and nobody
I'm
wants.
just waiting for a guy to try out for one of my girls' teams or a girl to try out for one of the guys.
Of course, it's going to happen. And
women are in wrestling now. It's in high schools.
Of course, it's going to happen. The question is, who's going to stand up to it? You know it's wrong, but you won't stand up to it. Look, I've done opinion polling on this.
Mm-hmm.
Super majority of people across partisan affiliations oppose men in the girls' bathroom. But who stands up for it? Very few. Because you don't want to be ridiculed, ostracized, labeled a bigot, targeted by the cultural Marxists. We teach our kids to stand up to thugs, and then we surrender to them. That's how the Boy Scouts went from the good guys to the bad guys. Good people surrender to the thugs. So those who are quiet, or worse, complicit, the way we were in erasing the lines and redefining marriage out of existence, and you thought that's where it was going to stop, right? How naive were you? Those that are complicit or silent, which is another form of complicity, what do you tell your kids? You're really telling your kids? Stand up to the thugs? No, you're not. Unless you're honest and say, don't be like mom or dad and cower in the face of an aggressor that is doing us harm, that is not that is advancing values that are contrary to my stated values.
Well, and the lines are already being erased. I mean, they have an early adopter program, Dan, and thousands of girls have become Cub Scouts already. Thousands. So there's going to be no more Girl Scouts. Trust me.
What's it? The Girl Scouts as an organization have already they gave in a long time ago. I mean, they're Planned Parenthood donors.
All those cookies I bought, the proceeds went to Planned Parenthood as well as my taxes too.
The Girl Scouts are funding an organization to eliminate more girls, to reduce the number of girls.
I'm sorry, I shouldn't be laughing. But
tweet from Don Moody. Dan, our son was awarded the BSA Medal of Honor for saving life, and we are sick about the death of the Boy Scouts organization. I know. I'm sure a lot of people are.
I know. 312-642-5600 is our number.
Holly and Hudson, you're on Chicago's Morning Answer.
Hey, welcome back. I just want you to know we all had a blast during the substitute week, but now we're back in business at our desks taking notes.
Yeah, now it's Adult Swim now, yes.
It's adults, correct. Hey, I have a side hustle where I coach kids into college, where I help kids get ready for college, and I am sickened by this because 5-10 years ago, to put on a college resume that you had earned your Eagle Scout, it was the stamp of you all call. It was almost a golden ticket into a college. But I had a parent recently say to me that their son devoted his entire life to getting the Eagle Scout, and they're considering not even including it on his college application. That the wheels have come off.
Well, why are they? The interesting thing is, why right now are they not including it? Because the Boy Scouts are still the bad guys until they fully surrender, which they now have? Or is it because they feel like the Boy Scouts have been diminished and the status of Eagle Scout has been diminished by what the Boy Scouts have become over the last 10 years up till yesterday?
Well, because they're afraid that the admissions counselors reading this are going to be so tainted about the bigoted Boy Scouts in the last 5-10 years that it's going to reflect negatively, and it's going to assume that this kid could be trouble.
Yeah,
this kid is somebody who stands up and could be a problem.
Yeah, well, that's a form of surrender too. I'm not going to.
Correct.
Yeah, I mean it's terrible.
So sad.
So we're saying to the good guys, surrender, give in to the bad guys. It's fascinating. Okay, oh, I'm sorry, Holly. I didn't mean to cut you off, but thanks for the call. Do you think that ends in a good place? Matt and Elsa.
Good morning, Dan. Good morning, Amy. I just have a quick question that maybe you guys could answer for me real quick about the whole tone of these invasions on organizations that are already in place. Why why don't these people just make their own stuff? Like, they have the right to assemble. Why can't we just have them make their own group? Why is that not good enough for them?
Well, because they're not interested in their own group. They're interested in destroying a group that doesn't reflect their values. They want to tear down, not build up, obviously. That's the whole point.
That's really contradictory, though, to standing out and being your own special thing. Like, if I wanted to be something special, wouldn't I find like-minded people and get together and organize and say, hey, we're this?
Yes.
Instead of going and invading on something else and ruining somebody else's party?
But the cultural Marxists are their own thing. They're cultural termites. They just tear through organizations that to feed more cultural Marxists. So that's what they're doing. They're getting together to destroy organizations like what used to be known as the Boy Scouts. That's the point. Thanks for the call, Matt. It's a culture war, and one side is disarming, and then we can't figure out why the other side is winning. Yeah, it's a real conundrum, isn't it? Real hard to piece this together. Things are happening that are contrary to my values. I'm uncomfortable with what's happening in my school. I'm uncomfortable with what's happening in the workplace, but I'm going to be quiet. I'm going to surrender, and then I'm going to complain about it on talk radio, or I'm going to complain about it in my small circle of guys when I play golf. I mean, we're a nation of pansies, and I don't know if you can still say that word, but I'm going to say it. Nation of pansies. And that includes, I hate to break it to people, many, many people on the center right, many, many stated conservatives who genuflect under threat of harm from the left. That's the story of the Illinois Republican Party, for gosh sakes. Michael on the north side.
You know, I just find it very difficult pill to swallow. I'm a gay male, and I was in Boy Scouts, and I just don't understand how a group of people, my community, could stand by and want equality under everything and want to be treated normal, but we do everything in our power to destroy the normality of what day in life is. And we are taking a foundation that is sacred in America, in my opinion, and we are turning it into a three-ring circus by allowing us to bend gender and just let anybody walk in carte blanche. And it's ridiculous. It's ridiculous.
Thanks for the call, Michael. Appreciate the perspective. Bill on the north side.
Yeah, good morning. My problem is United States Post Office. You know, they're the sexist people. They deliver mail, and I've had it with that. I want the female to be delivered, not male.
Oh, my God.
That's going way out of control now.
Okay.
It's out of control.
All right. Thanks for stopping by.
Thanks, Bill. Hey, nobody likes homonym humor more than Dan and Amy. So I appreciate that, Bill. An anonymous former scout leader. You're on Chicago's Morning Answer.
Hi, my name is Ramona. I'm in Glen Ellen.
Okay.
I was Girl Scout leader for 12 years.
Oh, okay.
I was an assistant Boy Scout leader for 4. My husband and I are still kind of involved with Boy Scouts now. Our kids are adults. I would have put my Girl Scouts and Boy Scouts in a heartbeat. Girl Scouts has gone so liberal. It is scary. It's just, you can't fight them. I was a stay-at-home mom. They pretty much said, Girl Scouts pretty much patted me on the head and said, go away and go do something where you can earn money. They were so demeaning. They were awful. And I kept thinking, who do you think most of your leaders are? Most of us are stay-at-home moms or only work part-time. Or, we devote a lot of time to this organization. They were very demeaning. I would put my kids are, like I said, they're 23 and turning 24 and 20, and I would have put my daughter in Girl Scouts or Boy Scouts in a heartbeat.
Thanks.
And she's actually an assistant Boy Scout leader, too.
Thanks for the call, Ramona from Glen Ellen. Appreciate that. Here's the thing. I wouldn't, if I had kids.
Wait, you have an imaginary children, right?
Well,
they're very expensive, too.
All right. You want an impromptu Dan Proft parenting tip?
Oh, yes. Dan Proft's parenting tips, go.
Here's what Dan Proft would do if
Papa
Dan Proft
Proft
wasn't talking in the third person about Dan Proft. Parenting tip.
Mm-hmm.
Don't put your kids in Girl Scouts or Boy Scouts. Well, you can't put them in Boy Scouts because Boy Scouts doesn't exist anymore. Don't put them in Scouts, period, because of exactly what Ramona said. What's happening with Girl Scouts is now Scouts by definition of the name change, despite the fact that Chief Executive of Scouts, Michael Serbaugh, many possibilities were considered during lengthy and, quote, incredibly fun, unquote, deliberations before the new name was chosen. These people are Orwellian goons.
Indian princesses, but we can't call it that anymore.
Find organizations that are reflective of your values. Stop feeling like you have to shoehorn your kids into organizations that have some name brand, even if that name brand's changed, because that's what other kids are doing, or because that's what you used to do, or that's what you were a part of. There are brands that change over time. What your K through 12 school systems were 40 years ago are not what they are today. So more Northridge Preps, more Willows Academies,
more St. John's
military academies. Yeah. So
St. John's Northwestern.
If you get the K through 12 education right and the home life right, then the freedom of association will take care of itself, and you won't have to worry about your kids falling prey to any sort of cultural Marxist organization masquerading as Scouts.
It's time for Dan Proft's parenting tips. Whoa, Dan Proft's parenting tips. Whoa, tell your kids to shut up and listen to him.
You're a child.
It's what Chicago is talking about. It's Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan and Amy on AM 560. The Answer.
I'm Lou Dobbs. Small business hiring is rising. Workers in New Jersey get a new sick leave policy, and Ford expanding its latest recall. Those stories next.
Guess what? Right now is the perfect time to tackle those home projects you've been putting off. So come summertime, you can just sit back and relax. Home Advisor can help get you started. Home Advisor matches you to the right pro for the job in seconds. You can read reviews and even book appointments online. Home Advisor can help with any home project, big or small, painting, plumbing, even remodeling. Find a great pro now before the busy season hits. Go to homeadvisor.com or download the free app.
Home Advisor. Wondering how you can make a difference with your cell phone? Check out Patriot Mobile, America's only conservative cell phone company. Patriot's mission is to provide a portion of their profits to conservative causes. You get the same great nationwide service as Big Mobile, transparent pricing, competitive plans, easy switching, discounts for active military, veterans, and first responders. All you need to know is their address, patriotmobile.com. That's patriotmobile.com. Patriot Mobile, built on conservative principles.
Small business hiring picking up last month. Payroll processor ADP reports employers are slowly but surely adding to their payrolls. ADP counted 62,000 new jobs created by its customers last month. New Jersey just enacted a law requiring employers to provide an hour of sick leave for every 30 hours worked. The state mandates workers be allowed to earn and carry forward as many as 40 hours of sick pay each year. Beer maker Molson saw shares tumble over 12% after it released yesterday a report saying its first quarter sales had fallen. Ford Motor Company says they're expanding their latest recall of full-size vans to include 26,000 transit vans manufactured between 2015 and 2017. The problem? Water can enter a computer module. Please join me for Lou Dobbs tonight, 7 and 11 Eastern on the Fox Business Network. This is the Lou Dobbs Financial Report.
Thousands of doctors, health specialists, and professionals recommend Balance of Nature as a way of improving their health. Listen to a few unsolicited success stories from doctors that not only recommend it, but use Balance of Nature as well.
In my practice, I was getting to the point where I couldn't have the strength to see that many patients anymore. I was diagnosed with sarcoidosis. It really affected my breathing and the strength that I had. And I was introduced to the fruits and veggies. Just slowly, my strength started to come back, and it was because of the good nutrition. I can't say enough good for Balance of Nature and what it's done for me, and I recommend it to everybody.
For a limited time, use discount code CHICAGO to receive a 50% discount on your first preferred whole health system and have it shipped to you free. Call 1-800-246-8751. That's 1-800-246-8751. 888-246-8751 or go online to balanceofnature.com and use discount code CHICAGO.
If you have pain, I hope you listen up. Hi, it's Mike Gallagher. You don't need to live in pain. Let me repeat that. You do not have to live in pain. Chronic pain is the worst, whether it's from an accident or pain that just develops. Chicagoland, you're in luck. Dr. Ken Candido is one of the nation's most respected and successful pain doctors. He's been voted one of Chicago's best pain doctors several times. Bottom line, he's the pain doctor you need. Dr. Candido of Chicago Anesthesia and Pain Specialists will help you get off pain medication and all of the side effects. How? By finding the source of your chronic pain and fixing it.
This is Ken Candido of Chicago Anesthesia Pain Specialists. Let's make you pain-free.
Call Dr. Ken Candido and make an appointment with a cutting-edge, respected, and successful pain physician. Go to mypainchicago.com. That's mypainchicago.com. Thousands have been helped with their chronic pain, and you could be the next one. Get the phone number and all the info you need at mypainchicago.com. That's mypainchicago.com.
AM 560. The Answer.
I don't know this organization, but a text from somebody I trust, Trail Life USA. Trail Life USA is a Christian alternative to Boy Scouts. So
Okay.
I don't know if you've heard of that or not.
Quickly want to tell you about our Bolingbrook Golf Tournament. It's called the 100 Club of Chicago Golf Outing. It is June 14th at the Bolingbrook Golf Club. A foursome is $1,196. With that, the proceeds go to the 100 Club of Chicago. Plus, as a business benefactor, that's the program you're signing up for, we give you 25 one-minute commercials. Dan could voice them for you. To become a business benefactor, 312-363-6680. That's 312-363-6680. Coming up on Chicago's Morning Answer.
Science proves that happiness begins at 50 and other things you wish were true at 7:07.
And waiting to see who's running for alderman. But first, let's go into the newsroom. Here's Mike Scott.
Heavy rain expected in Chicagoland today, and Anita Alvarez sues. We'll tell you who. WIND Chicago News Time is 7 o'clock.
The hush money Michael Cohen paid Stormy Daniels was paid back. I'm Dave Anthony, Fox News.
Cohen made it go away. He did his job.
Rudy Giuliani, now part of President Trump's legal team, tells Fox the president repaid the $130,000 paid to porn star Stormy Daniels to Michael Cohen through a law firm, though he didn't know what the money was for, to keep her quiet over claims she had sex with the president years before he was elected.
That money was not campaign money. Sorry, I'm giving you a fact now that you don't know. It's not campaign money. No campaign finance violation.
Fox's John Decker's live at the White House.
The president tweeting Mr. Cohen, an attorney, received a monthly retainer not from the campaign and having nothing to do with the campaign, from which he entered into, through reimbursement, a private contract between two parties known as a non-disclosure agreement. The president also tweeting money from the campaign or campaign contributions played no role in this transaction. Giuliani's disclosure on Fox News seemed to contradict President Trump's public statements on the payment. Cohen has also insisted that he used his own money and was not reimbursed for the payment by the Trump campaign or the Trump organization. Dave?
John, there's a manhunt in North Haven, Connecticut for a man who was holding his wife hostage until a barn behind his home exploded last night, injuring at least 8 police officers. This neighbor says,
our whole house was literally shaking. I've never felt anything like that in my life.
Police say the wife escaped. He got away. The military is trying to figure out why a C-130 plane, more than 60 years old, making was what to be his last flight, crashed in Georgia, killing 9 Puerto Rican National Guard members.
There's actually video of the plane itself crashing just shortly after takeoff from Savannah Airport. You could see that giant plane pause in the sky, the nose dipped, and then it twirled. It hit the ground here. Locals said the noise was just thunderous, then a giant fireball, then black smoke.
That's Fox's Steve Harrigan near the scene. The flight was supposed to be to Arizona. This is Fox News. Fair and balanced.
Skies are cloudy. We have a flash flood watch remaining in effect until 10 a.m. Good morning. I'm Mike Scott. On AM 560, The Answer. Cleanup underway after severe storms overnight tore through Chicagoland. Strong winds, quarter-sized hail, a roof collapse on a Chicago's South Side apartment building, and flights were canceled at O'Hare and Midway. No one is in custody after 5 were shot in a drive-by shooting on Chicago's West Side. It happened in the 3500 block of West Crenshaw, where police say a woman, 2 men, and 2 boys standing outside were shot at by a passing vehicle, which opened fire. The field for the 2019 race for Chicago mayor now has 6 challengers. Former Chicago Public Schools CEO Paul Vallis formally announced his campaign yesterday. Former Cook County State's Attorney Anita Alvarez is threatening to sue her successor over allegations made in a recent book. In the book, Know My Place, Reflections on Sexual Harassment in Illinois Government and Politics, current State's Attorney Kim Foxx claims Alvarez allowed a culture of sexual harassment to thrive. Alvarez's attorney sent a letter this week demanding the book's author retract the accusation by May 16 or face a defamation suit. Illinois House Speaker Mike Madigan talking on social media, promoting the idea of a graduated income tax. AM 560's David Stewart explains why.
The Democrats call the graduated tax a fair tax, and House Speaker Mike Madigan put out a video slamming Governor Rauner for opposing the concept.
When Bruce Rauner states that he's against a fair tax for Illinois, what he really means is he wants to help himself and all of his billionaire and millionaire friends.
And says Madigan deny tax relief to the middle class. The idea is also a cornerstone of the campaign of Rauner's Democratic challenger J.B. Pritzker. Rauner is adamantly opposed to a graduated tax, which would require a change in the Constitution. David Stewart, NBC News Radio, Chicago.
Chicago sports. Rockies beat the Cubs 11-2 at Wrigley. Cardinals beat the White Sox at Busch, sweeping a 2-game interleague set. The news is a service of Rocket Mortgage by Quicken Loans. Rocket Mortgage is simple, so you can understand the details and be sure you're getting the right mortgage. Apply simply. Understand fully, mortgage confidently. Visit rocketmortgage.com today. Licensed in all 50 states. Equal housing lender. NMLS number 3030. 7:04, a check of traffic and weather on the way next on AM 560.
Do you want your basement to be dry most of the time? If so, Permaseal is not the company for you. At Permaseal, we believe your basement should be dry all the time, no matter how hard it rains. Hi, I'm Roy Spencer, president of Permaseal. I hear story after story of homeowners who say their basement only leaks when it rains. Well, you don't worry about your living room or bedroom getting wet when it rains, and you should feel the same way about your basement. Just call 800-421-SEAL. We offer a free estimate, no haggle pricing, and a price assurance guarantee, so you can rest assured that you're getting the best value. Your basement is already dry most of the time, but if you want your basement dry all the time, you know who to call. 800-421-SEAL. Permaseal has earned an A+ rating from the BBB and has received their 2016 Torch Award for Marketplace Ethics. That's 800-421-SEAL or visit permaseal.net.
Your best for being better, Permaseal.
AmeriGas. Your business relies on the power of propane. It's a critical component to success, from powering your forklifts, temporary heating solutions at construction sites, to the patio heaters that warm customers at restaurants and bars. You need a safe, reliable, and trustworthy supplier of propane. You need AmeriGas. With AmeriGas, you get more than just a propane supplier. You get an expert and partner with safety being their #1 priority. Imagine never having to worry about running out of propane and having to call for an emergency delivery. It's available if you need it, but you won't with AmeriGas. AmeriGas monitors your usage and automatically schedules your propane deliveries hassle-free. AmeriGas, for almost 60 years, committed to providing reliable propane services to keep your business running. For safe propane delivery all over Chicagoland, any time of day, call 800-AmeriGas or go to AmeriGas.com. That's AmeriGas.com.
When it comes to hiring, you don't have time to waste. You need to get to a short list of qualified candidates fast. That's why you need Indeed.com. Post a job in minutes. Set up screener questions based on your job requirements. Then zero in on qualified candidates using our intuitive online dashboard. Your time is precious. Let Indeed help you get to your short list of qualified candidates. Post a job today at Indeed.com/hire. Search for greatness. Search Indeed.
I'm having that 6:59 feeling again.
What?
You know, that mini panic attack right before the workday starts when you're sure you've forgotten something?
Nope, that's my favorite time of day. I work with Cintas, so I always know we're ready for the workday. They handle our uniforms, fire extinguishers, first aid, safety training, floor mats, and restroom supplies.
I think I need to call Cintas.
They might just make a morning person out of you.
Oh, I'm ready!
Learn how Cintas can help you get ready for the workday. Visit Cintas.com.
7:07. Time for a dry basement and a healthy home. Time to call Permaseal, 800-421-SEAL. And time to check the roads in the Alarm Detection Systems Traffic Center. Here's Jim Talamonte.
Thanks, Mike. The inbound Kennedy is jammed. Canfield to Division, where lanes have just reopened after some wall repairs following an early morning crash. But it's an hour and 23 minutes O'Hare to downtown, 40 minutes from Montrose, 42 in the Express. Outbound 25 minutes to Montrose and 45 to the airport. Aiden's 34 minutes, Lake Cook to the junction, outbound 24. Eisenhower an hour and 4 minutes, 390 to downtown, 45 minutes from Mannheim. Outbound an hour and 5 minutes, 390. Crash at North Avenue in the left lane. Stevenson an hour and 10 minutes, 355 to Lakeshore Drive, outbound 38 minutes. Ryan 30 minutes, 95th to downtown. I-57, 32 minutes, I-80 to the merge, Bishop 440. On Tri-State delays, 115th to the 83rd Street toll. Stevenson to 47th, and from the Reagan toll to North Avenue, northbound Veterans Memorial heavy, I-55 most of the way to St. Charles, and from the Army Trail toll to 290, there are quite a few flight cancellations and delays at O'Hare. Traffic answers when you need them most. I'm Jim Talamonte, AM 560, The Answer.
Chicago's Morning Answer continues next. Your official Chicagoland weather forecast from the 1 Hour Heating and Air Conditioning Weather Center and our meteorologist, Alex Rabb.
Today is cloudy with a couple of showers and a thunderstorm and a high of 73. And tonight we have a couple of thunderstorms around, some severe. Considerable clouds and a breeze. Thunderstorms can bring flooding downpours, large hail, and damaging wind gusts, low of 61. I'm Alex Rabb on AM 560, The Answer.
62 degrees at O'Hare. Your next news update is at 7:30. Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan and Amy continues next on AM 560, The Answer.
This hourly segment is sponsored by the Townstone Financial Show, Saturday afternoons at 1. Nobody values your mortgage business like Townstone. Listen and call for the best advice.
This is Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan Proft and Amy Jacobson on AM 560, The Answer.
Good morning, Dan and Amy. Former Governor Bruce Rauner, it doesn't look like he's going to put up much of a fight against Spalding, so we turn our sights to a race that effectively runs concurrent to the 2018 midterms and statewide elections and legislative elections in Illinois, and that's the Chicago mayor's race where Paul Vallas is firing out of the gate.
Yeah, he's the former Chicago budget director, one-time CPS, CEO of CPS, and he is not afraid to hit Mayor Emanuel right in the face.
People don't like the mayor. Sorry, they don't like you. You're a bully. You intimidate people.
And I'm candidate shopping right now, so I'm listening to everyone. No, I am. I mean, I don't want Mayor Emanuel in office again. I want the mayor part to be scratched off. But Vallas hammered Emanuel on crime, the city's budget, pension problems, population exodus, and school closings.
I'm running because the city's in deep trouble, and I have the experience and the track record of success to offer and implement solutions to effectively and affordably address the city's issues.
Where's that? Please provide the record that's been referenced. And I'm sorry, you were Pat Quinn's running mate in 2012?
How did that go?
Were you not?
Yeah, he was. Yeah.
Or 2010. Right, 2010. No, he was Pat Quinn's running mate in 2014 against Rauner, right?
Right.
Yeah. So Pat Quinn, those were policies that you supported. Pat Quinn's policy agenda.
Well, now he's a new man.
No, he's not. Pat Quinn's policy agenda, the policy choices that he made as CPS boss, the policies he was promoting when he ran for governor in 2002 against Blagojevich and Burris in the Democrat primary. What's changed? This is rearranging deck chairs. Spin the wheel, and wherever it lands, you cast your vote, because it doesn't matter. Nobody who is announced or is contemplating it presents anything other than an extension of the policies pursued in Chicago for the last 100 years. So this is just a personality contest.
But he left CPS with a budget surplus. That's a fact. Now, Mayor Emanuel has blamed Vallas for starting the pension mess before he left his job as CEO of CPS.
He's going to say that over and over again. He's going to tell the big lie. Very Trump-like, if you ask me.
Yeah, invoking Trump. And Paul Vallis hit Mayor Emanuel about the Laquan McDonald tape.
I believe if he hadn't seen the video, he should have, and I believe that he should have disclosed the video before the election, period.
I like him more than any other person who's thrown their hat in the ring so far. I know you probably thought I was going to support Dorothy Brown. I'm not. I'm still candidate shopping, but I like Paul Vallis, and I like what he had to say.
But you liked what he had to say.
Just that he's not afraid to take on Tiny Dancer. Sorry, nobody likes you. It's the truth. Nobody does like him. He is a bully. And this is the first person candidate that I've heard say that in a forceful manner. And he got under the skin of Mayor Emanuel because Mayor Emanuel, a softer Mayor Emanuel, gave a reaction yesterday to the announcement.
To all of a sudden turn your back on something that is unprecedented in scale and scope of its job creation, educational and cultural benefits, doesn't understand when it comes to equity and making sure all parts of the city are growing together.
We're basically saying he doesn't care about the black communities. I mean, I don't know who you're going to be supporting or voting for, or any candidate that you could put in for this race. I'm willing to listen and form an opinion.
I'm all for Tiny Dancer being removed just because whoever replaces him will have less resources to affect their terrible public policies. But make no mistake, it will continue to be the same terrible public policies under which you suffer. Do you think Paul Vallis or Dorothy Brown or anybody else that's kicking
Willie
around
Wilson?
the idea of running for mayor? You think
Gary McCarthy?
Yeah, Gary McCarthy, for goodness sakes. You think this represents the possibility of some paradigm shift in Chicago? How delusional or ignorant are you? How willfully blind do you want to be? This is going to get worse. It's going to get worse, significantly worse, and it's going to increase in pace. How quickly it gets significantly worse.
Well, can you put up a candidate for mayor?
I'm moving to Naples.
Says who? Well, you and Sean are going to go down.
We got have
a staycation then instead of a man cave.
We got a nice little beach chalet, and we're going to while away our last remaining days down there.
Down there. Mm-hmm.
Cigars, and like the Sunshine Boys. We're going to go out that way.
I just I don't know, Paul Vallis, he seemed angry.
I'm running to win, but I'm also running to generate ideas.
Yeah, 312-642-5600 is our turnkey.pro answer line. 64636, type in DA, then a quick comment.
You know what kind of candidate I like?
What?
One that has ideas before they announce they're running. I'm running to generate ideas. Okay, great. Well, good luck with that. I hope you learn a lot about the city, and that's going to be fun for you. I'm glad it's like you're auditing politics. I'm running to generate ideas. This is the kind of nonsensical pablum that we get people in this godforsaken city and state that suffers from the most virulent strain of Stockholm Syndrome ever recorded. Where people shaking their heads, yeah, generate ideas. Yeah. Good. You know what we should do? Stuff for people. You know what we need to find? Common ground by working together across party lines, up and down the aisle, blah, 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 blah. Honestly, this is why Chicago is going to be the first city taken over by robots. And if it already hasn't, I think some of the people in public office are actual AI, minus the intelligence part. I'm running to generate ideas, and I'm running on a platform of Tiny Dancer is unpopular. Wow. Knock me over with a feather. And how John Cass can look at Paul Vallis and what he's offering so far, as much as I love John, and say, oh, game on. We're so thirsty and hungry for something other than what we have that we're imputing onto somebody like Paul Vallis things he is not.
Well, Cass and Paul Vallis are both Greek.
Greek
brothers.
Okay, whatever. Things he is not, policies he doesn't believe will not advance. A city council that, is 49 trained seals barking at every time Tiny Dancer throws him a dead fish. Property tax increases. Their big idea is elected local school councils. Woo! There's not a big idea that's been proposed that hasn't been proposed for 20 ideas. That's not a big idea. And when people tout incrementalism as paradigm shifting, they're telling you they're not interested in the kind of structural change that is required to change the future of Chicago, to brighten it, because it is bleak. That's what the numbers say. That's what the math says. That's what you see in practice. Goodness sakes.
312-642-5600 is our turnkey Deborah.
McCarthy, he seems good. He's a cop. Paul Vallis, CPS.
I just like that he left CPS with a budget surplus, according to him.
It's all phony baloney math. Budget surplus. I mean, come on. CPS is one of the worst public school systems in the Western Hemisphere. It has been for the last 50 years. It is today. It was under Vallis. That's a fact. The point of a K-12 school system is to provide children with the opportunity to earn an education to prepare them for success in life. Is that what CPS is doing, generally speaking, with the 400,000 kids it had during Vallis's time or the 325 that it has today? Does anybody believe that's what CPS is doing? Except on the margins, people that would be successful no matter where they go because of family support and the like. And the few magnet schools that are driven by the rich and the politically connected. Nobody believes it. As C.S. Lewis said, the purpose of education is to irrigate deserts. Because this is this is all connected back to the schools. Is Chicago a desert that has been irrigated by the Chicago public school system or not? Or is it still just a desert? 50 years and tens of billions of dollars later. But the teachers get paid, and the administrators get paid, and the unions get paid, union bosses, and they're all good at playing racial politics, and the hoi polloi is good at gobbling up the racial politics, the identity politics, to continue to propagate the same system, and to have these preposterous debates about Paul Vallis versus Gary McCarthy versus Tiny Dancer. Yeah, get Tiny Dancer out just to have that, little pisher, as Bruce Wolf calls him, humbled a bit. But that's the only thing you're accomplishing. Do not delude yourself into thinking you're accomplishing anything else for the city of Chicago. George in Libertyville.
Well said. Paul Vallis, why do I have an image of Lee Elia running out onto the diamond and kicking dirt all over the umpire's feet? That's Paul Vallis's stance right now. People don't like him, and until one of these clowns crosses and touches the third rail and says, "I will go to the state, change the Constitution, get these damn pensions fixed." It's all the same thing, Dan. Just like you said, they're barking seals at this point. Until somebody touches that third rail, and 51% of the people that just are sheep start actually reading and listening to why our property taxes are out of control, it continues, and then it becomes, well, who do I think I like? Like anyone's going to have a cup of coffee with any of these knuckleheads anyway.
Thanks for the call, George. Crane's reporting new data indicate employment growth in the city has flatlined. Only 510 more private sector jobs in the city than the same period a year ago. Wow. And the number of employed Chicagoans is almost dead even. Getting worse. Stagnation, death. Joe in Chicago.
Yeah, hi, Dan. I was on the Brown line Saturday, and I'm sitting there, and I look across from me, and I see two college-age guys dressed in jeans, and they had vests on, nothing fancy, not a uniform or anything. But then I looked, they both have the same green, like marine-type caps on with the communist red star on them, and on their vest they had buttons with the hammer and sickle.
Yeah, okay.
A bunch of them, different, about 6 or 7 buttons on each one of their vests. No one said anything to them. That they weren't saying anything. They were just sitting there very quietly. But I'm just wondering if one person would have had like a swastika button on, they would have stopped that train so fast and arrested that guy. Would have made his head spin.
Well,
but what do you think's going on here? You think something's starting?
Thanks for the call, Joe. I don't know about arrested, but I think it's nice to hear that some of Chicago's aldermen are using public transportation.
You've made the switch, and it feels so good. You've switched to Chicago's Morning Answer on AM 560. The Answer.
Coming up, should you ever use the word delicious when describing a female? But first, here's your forecast. Today, we're going to have some a little bit cooler conditions than yesterday, a high of only 72 degrees, and there'll be a couple of showers, a possible thunderstorm looming around today. Tonight, a few evening thunderstorms. Some could be severe, a low of 60. And for Friday, mostly cloudy in the morning and some sunshine in the afternoon, a high of 73 degrees. Let's get into the Alarm Detection Systems Traffic Center. Here is Jim Talamonte.
Thanks, Amy and Dan. Got nearly 200 flight cancellations at O'Hare this morning. Lake Zurich Rand Road is closed. Old McHenry to Timberlake due to a crash. Eden's 35 minutes. Lake Cook Junction up on 26. Kennedy, an hour and 23 minutes. O'Hare to downtown after a crash and repairs at Division. 40 minutes from Montrose, 42 in the Express. Eisenhower, an hour and 5 minutes. 390 to downtown. Up on the same. The crash at North Avenue in the left lane. Stevenson, an hour and 14 minutes, 355 to the drive, up on 42 minutes. Ryan, 32 minutes, 95th to downtown. Northbound Tri-State heavy Cicero to the 83rd Street toll, from the Stevenson to 47th, and from the Reagan tollway to North Avenue. Northbound Veterans Memorial jammed, I-55 most of the way to St. Charles, then from the Army Trail toll to 290. I'm Jim Talamonte in the Alarm Detection Systems Traffic Center.
This is Dan Proft with 60 Seconds of Sanity for Upstream-Ideas.com. I'm an inquisitive sort. I want to understand the left, but I have questions. When it comes to your concern that law enforcers not be above the law, is that just for beat cops, or does it extend to senior level officials at the nation's most powerful law enforcement agency? I ask because I haven't heard the date announced for the Andy McCabe protests. When it comes to treating the Constitution like an Asian buffet, are there limits to the application of the sanctuary designation? I ask because Effingham County, Illinois, voted to make their jurisdiction a sanctuary county for Second Amendment rights to protect the rights of their residents to protect themselves. I understand you to be stalwart defenders of a free press now. Could you share your conversion story? I ask because of your silence when Obama Attorney General Eric Holder surveilled and subpoenaed Fox News reporter James Rosen, and when Patrick Fitzgerald imprisoned New York Times reporter Judith Miller in the Scooter Libby case, to cite but just two examples. Thank you in advance for helping me distinguish your virtue from your virtue signaling.
Thousands of doctors, health specialists, and professionals recommend Balance of Nature as a way of improving their health. Listen to a few unsolicited success stories from doctors that not only recommend it, but use Balance of Nature as well.
I look at Balance of Nature and I look what it's doing for me as I've started taking it, and for the patients that I have that are taking it, and it's been phenomenal. Watching the changes that have happened and how much healthier and how much more energy that they have. I haven't heard any negative feedback from any of my patients who have been taking the product. And the thing that amazes me with it is that it's so simple.
For a limited time, use discount code CHICAGO to receive a 50% discount on your first preferred whole health system and have it shipped to you free. Call 1-800-246-8751. That's 1-800-246-8751. Or go online to balanceofnature.com and use discount code CHICAGO.
Dan Proft here, and I'm here with my guy, Ryan Kelly, at thehomeloanexpert.com. Ryan, I know serving those who serve our country is really important to you. You're always looking for ways to help our troops. Tell our listeners about your new program, Hero Loan for Military Families.
This is one that we're really proud of. And we've done VA loans since the beginning of time. And the problem is when you're waiting on the VA, and I'm not trash talking them or anything along those lines, but you are just what I said, you're waiting. And I think the average turn time to get a VA loan closed with most lenders is 60 to 90 days. And we thought that was ridiculous. So 2 years ago, I started the application with the VA, and I just received the highest delegation that they can bestow on a lender, meaning I can now process, underwrite, close, and fund fund all VA loans in-house. What does that mean for the veterans and the service members and their families? I close VA loans in 14 days, and I even pay for the appraisal. If you're looking for a VA loan, apply online today at hero.loan. That's hero.loan, the only way to VA. The Home Loan Expert LLC.
Shoot Point Blank is Chicago's leading shooting range and firearms store. Featuring 20 climate-controlled shooting lanes, complete retail store, and firearm education classes for all experience levels. Whether you're a new or expert shooter, now you can experience the Shoot Point Blank difference and see for yourself why so many people are talking about Shoot Point Blank.
I can tell you, I was impressed as soon as I walked through the door. The employees were really helpful, very patient, and knowledgeable, too.
My wife and I had a wonderful experience. We felt very comfortable and informed.
Brett was very friendly and respectful, and he answered all my questions. Because I'm new to pistols, I'm grateful he was patient and helped me decide what to buy for my new firearm.
For a huge selection of new and used firearms, ammo, and state-of-the-art indoor shooting range, visit them in Hodgkins, Mokina, Naperville, or Merrillville. Or check out shootpointblank.com. Experience the difference. Shoot Point Blank.
AM 560, The Answer.
So after President Macron was here in the U.S. with President Trump and Melania, he went to Australia and, he had a joint press conference yesterday thanking the Australian Prime Minister and his wife for their hospitality.
I wanted to thank you for your welcome. Thank you and your delicious wife for your warm welcome.
Oh.
It's the perfect organization of this trip. Thanks to you and Lucy. Thank you very much, Mr. Prime Minister. Thank you very much.
Almost us, yeah. He called her delicious. Lucy Turnbull is the woman he was discussing. And, of course, I Googled her because I wanted to see if she was age appropriate. She's not. She's more in Bridget's category. She's
He can't control
plus.
control his attraction to older women, which is something that you benefit from. So you better. So I wouldn't cast any stones in that glass house, young lady.
Yeah. No, he said he didn't apologize for it, but he just meant that she was a lovely lady, but delicious. I mean, that's what you call a dessert. Or was she a dessert? Your delicious wife? Oh my!
Did Turnbull say, "How do you know she's delicious?" And that's not an Australian accent.
Join us on June 14th at our 100 Club of Chicago golf outing, Thursday, June 14th.
Delicious golf outing.
It is going to be just scrumptious. Gather a foursome. It's $1,196. That's about $300 a player. And the proceeds go to the 100 Club of Chicago. They're there once a loved one loses a family member in the line of duty, a firefighter, police officer, EMT, and they need our financial support. So we've teamed up with them again this year. And as a way of saying thanks, if you own a business or if you're the marketing manager, we will give you 25 60-second commercials that will air right here on AM 560. It's valued at more than $3,000 in advertising, so it is the best deal. You pay only $1,196. Plus, you have a great day. There's a 7:30 a.m. shotgun start and a 2:30 afternoon shotgun start. Lunch from 12:30 to 2. There's a silent auction. You want to go to this event. Call this number, 312-63. Get the number right. 312-363.
Take your time.
6680. Numbers are hard.
Yeah.
312-363-6680. Coming up on Chicago's Morning Answer.
We'll talk to the sage of South Central who's in town for our smoker May 17th at Bolingbrook Golf Club. He is Larry Elder, and he joins us at 7:37.
But first, into the newsroom we go. Here's Mike Scott.
Clouds, some light rain showers through the area. Flash flood watch remains in effect until 10 a.m. Good morning, I'm Mike Scott. More women are coming forward this morning. They say they were sexually harassed by veteran newsman Charlie Rose. An investigative report by the Washington Post this morning says an additional 27 women claim they were sexually harassed by Rose. Of those, 14 worked with Rose at CBS, 13 worked with him elsewhere. President Trump is hinting about progress toward releasing 3 Americans held in North Korea. Authorities in North Haven, Connecticut say 8 officers are injured this morning after a hostage situation ended in an explosion. According to police, a man had been holding his wife hostage inside of a home for several days.
These men just doing their jobs, and I can't even imagine how their wives are feeling right now, the police officers, because dumbfounded right now.
The suspect barricaded himself inside a nearby barn after the woman escaped. An explosion leveled the barn and injured the SWAT team officers. Cleanup is underway after severe thunderstorms tore through Chicagoland. Damage reported throughout the region, including an apartment building on Chicago's south side that was evacuated after a roof collapsed. No one is in custody after 5 were shot in a drive-by shooting on Chicago's west side. It happened in the 3500 block of West Grenshaw Street. The field for the 2019 race for Chicago mayor now stands at 6 challengers for Mayor Rahm Emanuel. Former Chicago Public Schools CEO Paul Vallis formally announced his campaign yesterday. And Bill Cosby could have his honorary degree from Northwestern rescinded in the wake of his conviction for sexual assault. NU trustees will consider revoking that degree at their June 18th meeting. Rockies beat the Cubs 11-2. Cardinals clipped the White Sox 3-2 to sweep that interleague series, and the Bears declined to pick up the 5th-year option on wide receiver Kevin White's rookie contract. The news, a service of Staples. Staples knows running out of ink is no way to do business. Help keep your business working and your printers printing. Go to Staples for a huge selection of ink and toner and find your ink in stock every time and at a low price every day, so you can meet every deadline. Staples, it's pro time. 7:34 is our time. We'll have a check of traffic and weather on the way next on AM 560.
I am a Trump supporter.
The Joe Walsh Show.
Now, I am a Trump supporter who will freely criticize the president when I think he's done wrong. And done wrong can be sending out a stupid tweet, raising taxes, or supporting amnesty. It can be anything. It's the issues to me. And when President Trump does something that does not advance those issues, I'll call him out on it.
The Joe Walsh Show. Weeknights starting at 5. Right after Sean Hannity at 2 on AM 560. The Answer.
Get your truly free credit score and free credit monitoring from Credit Karma. Download the Credit Karma app today. Credit Karma. Get knowing.
Remember when you were a kid and summer camp wasn't exactly something you look forward to? I mean, it was okay, but just not that many different things to do. It's time to put some excitement into summer camp. Check out Dangerous Camp for Boys and over 20 other summer day camps from Northridge Prep. Dangerous Camp is dangerously fun, not unsafe, and is designed to get your boys off their iPads, iPhones, and video games this summer. And get them throwing water balloons, playing games, and learning the meaning of outdoor adventure. Remember that? Northridge Prep, the all-boys school in Niles, instills traditional values you hold as parents. Their summer programs for boys in grades 1 through 8 combine fun, adventure, and character growth. There's basketball camps led by a former NCAA Division I coach and varsity players, battles of the Civil War, bugs and botany, intro to musical improv, and more. Even a robotics camp where campers learn to build, pilot, and code their own robots. Get your son off the couch and into the outdoors and have fun this summer. Learn more and register online at northridgeprep.org. northridgeprep.org.
Risk mitigation is an important consideration that smart companies pay attention to in today's complicated business climate. Some of the greatest risks occur when your company hires new employees or when you execute new business financial relationships. When your company hires, leases, or conducts financial transactions, decisions are critical. That's why veteran-owned and operated Global Verification Network is a company you should know. Startups to Fortune 100s trust Global Verification Network, and so should you. They're a background screening and investigative services company dedicated to expert, timely, and affordable background screening services for employment, tenant screening, and business due diligence. Global Verification Network is headquartered in Chicagoland, a federally recognized veteran-owned small business, and never offshores data like many competitors. To request your company's risk analysis without obligation or cost, visit mygvn.com or call 877-695-1179 or online at mygvn.com. Global Verification Network, the risk mitigation experts, 877-695-1179.
7:37. Let's get an update on our morning ride to work in the Alarm Detection Systems Traffic Center. Here's Jim.
Mike, the northbound Veterans Memorial Tollway is heavy this morning from I-55 most of the way to St. Charles and from the Army Trail Toll to 290. Northbound 53 at Stop and Go. The Adams Tollway to Kirchhoff, southbound Rand to Kirchhoff. Aiden's from Lake Hook to the Junction, 35 minutes, outbound 26. Kennedy hour and 23 minutes. O'Hare to downtown, a little heavier in the express, outbound 45 minutes. Eisenhower, an hour and 5 minutes, 390 to downtown, outbound an hour 5. Crash at North Avenue in the left lane. Stevenson, an hour 14, 355 to Lakeshore Drive, outbound 42 minutes. Bryan, 34 minutes, 95th at the Loop. Traffic service, Rocket Mortgage by Quicken Loans. Rocket Mortgage is simple, so you can understand the details. Be sure you're getting the right mortgage. Apply simply, understand fully, mortgage confidently. Visit rocketmortgage.com today. Licensed in all 50 states, equal housing lender, MLS number 3030. Traffic answers when you need them most. Jim Talamonte on AM 560, The Answer.
Chicago's Morning Answer continues next. Your official Chicagoland weather forecast from the 1 Hour Heating and Air Conditioning Weather Center. Cloudy, cooler, a couple of showers and a thunderstorm. And we have that flash flood advisory up until 10 a.m. as well, high 72. Currently, 63 degrees. Your next news update is at 8. And Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan and Amy continues next on AM 560, The Answer.
This hourly segment is brought to you by the Money Hour radio show, Saturday afternoons at 3 on AM 560, The Answer. Brought to you by Pearshell Financial Group.
Some call me the sage from South Central. Others call me the czar of common sense. But you can call me Larry Elder. And you're invited to join me tonight, starting at 7, right here on AM 560, The Answer.
And we'll be talking to that very sage.
Oh, I love this music.
In just a couple of minutes, the czar. You can't stop using terms of Russian royalty. You refer to Larry Elder as the sage. I don't like the czar.
Okay.
All right. Kanye West, I had some choice words about Kanye West yesterday, but also about the attention that we give
the whole
to,
world was garnering.
Yeah, the whole world gives to Kanye West to amplify some of his silliness. Now, I actually went back and watched the entire
Oh, you did your homework.
30-minute interview on TMZ. This is how much I care about our listeners. I am willing to endure that kind of intellectual violence, so you don't have to. And most of what I said about Kanye West I stand by, but there were some additional things he said in context that matter.
You want me to play the money bite first?
The slavery
bite.
When you hear about slavery for 400 years, that sounds like a choice. Like, you was there for 400 years and it's all of y'all? It's like we're mentally in prison. I like the word prison because slavery goes too direct to the idea of blacks. It's like slavery, Holocaust Jews, slavery is blacks. So prison is something that unites us as one race.
Okay.
Right. So I addressed that in terms of what I
thought what he meant.
Well, a suggestion of what he could have meant, because I don't pretend to know the mind of Kanye West or want to. Now here's Kanye West, like the Kanye West that makes you want to dismiss him out of hand. Kanye West first responding to the question of why he wore the MAGA hat, the Make America Great Again hat, last week and started this whole imbroglio.
I mean, I'm an artist, right? So to ask an artist, there's infinite reasons. There's infinite reasons to the why an artist does something. An artist doesn't need suggestions. An artist needs paintbrush and a canvas. So this opened up a conversation. I'm probably going to do the least good explanation of why. I'm just connected with the universe, period.
Do you think he thinks highly of himself?
That's why I had to explain it. An artist doesn't know why an artist does what he does. All he needs is a paintbrush, and canvas, and some Ray Charles music to sample. That's all he needs. That's what an artist needs. But then Kanye did go on to say some things that provided some context to his self-referential pablum that was not pablum.
You're choosing to enslave people's minds. You're choosing to not let the truth be free. It's the mob. The mob tries to tell you what to think. The mob tries to make all blacks be Democrats for food stamps and stuff. It's the mob. And by the way, you're just talking to the emotion. When you get Candace, ask her, she's going to drop you the facts. We're going to have Candace on in a bit. The kid, if you ask the kid that stood in Tiananmen Square,
here we go again, off the rails.
In front of the tank, why he did it, he might not be able to explain that. But you can't diminish that moment if I can't give you the direct explanation.
I think Tank Man would be able to explain it better than Kanye explains wearing a MAGA hat. But his point about the mob and about thinking freely is a salient one. It's not a particularly novel one. It's only novel to Kanye, and it's only novel to Kanye because he doesn't, exist outside of his own mind. So there's nothing groundbreaking there, but I just wanted to point out he did talk about the idea of the slavery comment being in the context of we were enslaved by others. Now we're enslaving ourselves intellectually because we're forced to think alike. Otherwise, you're somehow not authentically black. That's what I think he was trying to say in part, and I just want to at least be fair if I'm going to be critical. For more on this topic, we're pleased to be joined by the aforesaid Sage of South Central. We'll have more sagacious perspectives on this than I, certainly. Larry Elder, thanks for being with us. Appreciate it.
Dan and Amy, good morning.
Good morning. And by the way, I want to tell you that our cigar event on May 17th is already sold out, and people have already started camping out of the golf club where we're having it in advance of your arrival.
They're on a waiting list.
I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah.
I know that original person was supposed to be Dennis Prager. I saw him last night at a fundraiser for Louis Gohmert, the congressman from Texas, and I said, Dennis, I'm too bad. So I'm really looking forward to it.
Great, and we're looking forward to having you in Chicago. So just your perspective on the controversy surrounding the Kanye comments.
Well, first of all, I think you're right that what Kanye meant was that if you still believe after emancipation you're still a slave, that's on you. That's a choice. That's a mental construct that you made. Now, he didn't say it that way. It came out kind of stream of consciousness, but that is clearly what he meant. And the reason this is important to me, anyway, is that Kanye West, Candace Owens, has begun a conversation among young blacks that you don't have to be a Democrat if you're black. As you know, about 95% of black people vote for the Democratic Party at the presidential level, and people like Thomas Sowell, Walter Williams have written for decades that if the Republicans can just get 20%, 30% of the black vote, the Democrats are toast at the presidential level. This is why what Kanye West did was frankly so bold. I live in Hollywood. I got to tell you, there is not an A-list actor or actress in his or her 20s or 30s who's come out at Trump. Now, you can't tell me that 100% of all the actors and actresses in that age category are all for Hillary, but nobody has the cashews to come out and say what Kanye West said. And he's getting hammered. He's been called an Uncle Tom. He's been called a sellout. This is what happens to people like Thomas Sowell and Walter Williams and Clarence Thomas and Herman Cain and on and on and on. And Kanye West, in my opinion, is opening up a conversation that's long, long overdue.
Well, and then you have Congresswoman Maxine Waters telling him to shut up.
Well, I mean, how about that?
People,
How is that any different? How is that any different than Laura Ingraham telling LeBron James and Katie? What's the other player's name? The one that played for the Olympic State? Durant, Kevin Durant. What's the difference between telling Kanye West to basically be more thoughtful about what you have to say versus what Laura Ingraham said when she told him to shut up and dribble? What's the difference? Where's David Hogg when we need him? Why isn't that bullying? How come Maxine Waters is not a bully? That's what David Hogg referred to Laura Ingraham as. And here Kanye West is simply saying, as you said, Dan, it's nothing revolutionary. You're free. You can vote for whomever you want. But believe me, that is heresy in the black community. It is heresy to say that you're in favor of Donald Trump. It's heresy to say that you're in favor of vouchers. It's heresy to say we ought to do something about the borders. Even though a number of black people feel that way, saying it out loud for a celebrity like Kanye West is a risk. Remember the relatively tepid comments that Bill Cosby made pre-rape when he was talking about black people need to pull up their pants, and he said there's a term called unwed mothers. Why isn't there a term called unwed fathers? He got hammered, and this is a Democrat. who pulled the lever for Hillary. So what Kanye West is doing, even if people don't perceive it that way, believe me, is very, very brave within the black community.
Yeah, okay. I want to get your perspective on something else with the Rudy Giuliani disclosure last night, yesterday, about reimbursing Cohen for the payment to Stormy Daniels, and then the back and forth now. This seems to be coming to a head about the terms and conditions under which Trump will or will not voluntarily sit down with Mueller. This, of course, is all about impeaching Trump. Byron York had a good piece in the Washington Examiner the other day talking about the Trump impeachment trap. Everybody now is talking about the perjury trap that Trump is allegedly, that is being sprung for Trump by Mueller. But the impeachment trap for Democrats, York reminding Republicans and Democrats, I guess, that Democrats look to impeach Bush, George W., after the intelligence that led to the run-up of the Gulf War II was found to be illegitimate. And the problem is that even as unpopular as George W. Bush was, ending his presidency because of the war in Iraq, the country didn't want to see him impeached, and Democrats suffered as a result. And are we on the cusp of something similar for the Democrats, where they overplay their hand and hand the Republicans a chance to hold the House in the process?
Well, I think that's the fear of people like Nancy Pelosi. As radical as she is, she recognizes that if they're running on impeach Trump, as opposed to a pro-growth economic message, they're in trouble. But what is their message other than Trump is an a-hole? What do they have? $15 minimum wage? Let's repeal the tax cuts that people have been benefiting from, and people now support. What is their message other than Donald Trump is an a-hole, we got to get him? And frankly, it doesn't really matter what he says to Mueller when they eventually work out something. And I think eventually they got to work out something. Maybe they'll limit the interview to 3 hours, I think is what Giuliani's talking about. It doesn't matter what he says. If the Democrats take over the House, they are going to move to impeach President Trump. I don't think they're going to be successful. I think I told you before, even though I'm an outlier on this, I believe there's 20 or 30 reasonable Democrats, if the Democrats take over the House, who'll say, wait a minute. If we get rid of somebody for reasons this weak, this lame, the next person who's gotten rid of might be our person. So I think there'll be enough people like that. But even I'm wrong, it goes to the Senate, as you know. It'll take 2/3 senators to throw him out of office. And there has never been a senator who's voted to throw a president out of office of his own party. And it's not going to happen now. It didn't happen with Clinton. It didn't happen with Andrew Johnson in the 1800s. So he's not going anywhere. But yes, there'll be impeachment proceedings if the Democrats take control of the House. No question about it.
And just a follow-up point on that, to your point, when it comes to independents, 38% support impeachment, 54% oppose. So there is some reason for Democrats to tread lightly.
Right, exactly. And the Republican brand suffered after Bill Clinton was impeached. Bill Clinton was not impeached for having an affair. As you know, he's impeached for lying under oath. So there were legitimate reasons, in my opinion, to impeach Bill Clinton. You don't have reasons here, but they are still angry about it, believe that Bill Clinton was impeached for political reasons, and many people are perfectly okay with impeaching Donald Trump for political reasons because you guys did it to us back in the 90s. That's how a lot of left-wing...
Hello?
Oh, did we lose Larry?
No, I hear you.
Oh, okay, sorry.
Okay. Real quickly, I'm sure you watched the interview last night with Rudy Giuliani and Sean Hannity. Rudy's saying that President Trump did repay Michael Cohen the money used to pay off Stormy Daniels. Now this morning, he's walking that back, saying no, he was paid the money, but the president didn't know what it was for. What storyline are you believing?
My storyline is I don't care. I don't care who paid it. I don't care whether or not it came from this person, that person. I don't think the American people care. I don't think it's relevant.
Okay.
All right. Simple enough. He is Larry Elder, and he's going to be in Chicago May 17th at Bolingbrook Golf Club for our cigar event here at AM 560. We'll have a fun conversation. And, Larry, do you have a particular brand of choice that we can line up for you?
Well, I was just thinking, Dan and Amy, that we've used the word, I think I've used the word cigar and Bill Clinton in the same sentence since we've been speaking. I don't think I want to do that.
Yes.
I'm not sure they're still contraband, but I've always enjoyed Cohibas. Is that a good thing or a bad thing?
No,
that's a fine thing. We can
fine choice.
rustle up some. allegedly Dominican cohibas that may or may not be Dominican.
That's right.
He is Larry Elder. You catch him 7 to 9 p.m. weekdays on these very airwaves, host of the Larry Elder Show, the sage of South Central. Thanks so much for joining us, Larry. Appreciate it.
It's my pleasure.
And he joined us on our turnkey.pro answer line.
Connect with Dan and Amy using the AM 560 mobile app. Download it today at 560theanswer.com/mobile.
Hi, it's Mike Gallagher. I want to tell you about a tremendous offer from my friends at Roland's Jewelers. You know, Roland's Jewelers is in downtown Libertyville. Roland's is celebrating their newly designed showroom. They have a grand reopening Friday, May 4th. Now, Roland's is offering huge savings on designer brands like incredible brands, Simon G. Simon G believes everything you wear should reflect who you are. From classic to unique designs, Simon G just captures your own unique style. At Roland's, experience the elegant Simon G boutique featuring beautiful engagement rings, stunning diamond fashion jewelry. I want you to take advantage of huge savings at Roland's re-grand opening sale Friday, May 4th. Hors d'oeuvres, cocktails, free jewelry. It's a night you won't want to miss. I'm a proud customer. I wear a beautiful Shinola watch from Roland's. Mother's Day coming soon. Trust Roland's Jewelry. Downtown Libertyville. Go to RolandsJewelers.com. ROLLANDS. Roland's Jewelers. A family-owned jeweler you can trust.
Signature Bank is Chicago's fastest-growing independently owned business bank. It's a bank where relationships still matter. Signature Bank knows your name and your story. I'm Dan Proft, and I know this because Signature Bank is my business bank.
I'm Tom Goleb, Chief Financial Officer of Navitas Systems, a leader in the next generation of advanced battery technology and a customer of Signature Bank. A few years ago, I heard Signature Bank on an AM 560 radio ad, just as our previous commercial bank was being acquired. I knew Mick O'Rourke and Kevin Bastuga from a prior enterprise. I valued my relationship with them and the way they worked earned my trust and my business. So I decided to give Signature Bank a call. They took the time to understand our early-stage technology company that has its own set of challenges. Signature Bank took care of us, and now we are satisfied customers.
Signature Bank is looking for their next success story. To learn more about turning your business vision into reality, visit signaturebank.bank. Signature Bank, helping local businesses succeed. Member FDIC, Equal Housing Lender.
Balance of Nature's fruits and veggies.
I went to have my blood test done a few weeks ago, and I met the doctor, and he was really encouraged by my progress, and I showed him what I was taking. And he started looking at all the ingredients, and he said, I'm really impressed with the shiitake mushroom. And he said, this stuff, it could clean out your arteries. And I'm like, oh, wow. He said, you may be onto something here. And he said, you just keep that up, and maybe you can start cutting back on your medication. And he says, you're helping your health by doing that. I'm like, whoa, endorsement by the doctor.
For a limited time, use discount code CHICAGO to receive a 50% discount on your first preferred whole health system and have it shipped to you free. Call 1-800-246-8751. That's 1-800-246-8751. Or go online to balanceofnature.com and use discount code CHICAGO.
The following is a paid political announcement.
Have you met the Swamp Brothers? Congressman Todd Rokita and Congressman Luke Messer. You already know their stories. Todd Rokita and Luke Messer are two lawyers who never practiced and became career politicians. What makes them Swamp Brothers? It's their records in Washington. In Congress, Todd Rokita and Luke Messer voted to fast-track Obama's bad trade deals which could have cost Indiana thousands of jobs. And Todd Rokita and Luke Messer voted for billions in new debt, $500 billion to be exact. But there's more, and it's even worse. Todd and Luke voted to fund abortion provider Planned Parenthood and Obama's executive amnesty. Todd's no conservative. He's a fraud. Luke's no conservative. He's a liberal. Todd the fraud. Luke the liberal. The Swamp Brothers. Wrong for you.
I'm Mike Braun, and I approve this message.
Paid for by Mike Braun for Indiana.
Shoot Point Blank is Chicago's leading shooting range and firearms store. Featuring 20 climate-controlled shooting lanes, complete retail store, and firearm education classes for all experience levels. Whether you're a new or expert shooter, now you can experience the Shoot Point Blank difference and see for yourself why so many people are talking about Shoot Point Blank.
I can tell you, I was impressed as soon as I walked through the door. The employees were really helpful, very patient, and knowledgeable, too.
My wife and I had a wonderful experience. We felt very comfortable and informed. Brett was very friendly and respectful, and he answered all my questions. Because I'm new to pistols, I'm grateful he was patient and helped me decide what to buy for my new firearm.
For a huge selection of new and used firearms, ammo, and state-of-the-art indoor shooting range, visit them in Hodgkins, Mokina, Naperville, or Merrillville. Or check out shootpointblank.com. Experience the difference. Shoot Point Blank.
Your credit card companies love you. They love it when your cards stay maxed out. They love it when you only make minimum payments. They love it when you struggle. Why? Because they own you. And minimum payments mean maximum profits. Here's great news. National Debt Relief is now offering you free information on how to escape your credit card debt nightmare. If you owe more than $10,000 in credit card debt and are only barely making minimum payments, know this: you may not have to pay it all back. In fact, you may have the right to settle that debt for only a fraction of what you owe. National Debt Relief has helped thousands of people get rid of over $500 million of debt, and they're A+ rated by the Better Business Bureau. Get the information you need for free right now before this offer goes away. Go to ndrnow.com now and escape your credit card debt troubles. Go now to ndrnow.com. That's ndrnow.com. AM 560, The Answer.
Well, June 14th, that's not only the day that Stormy Daniels is in town at the Admiral Theater, it's the day of our golf outing. This year it's titled the 100 Club of Chicago golf outing. It's going to be at Bolingbrook Golf Club, and foursomes are going for $1,196. That's about $300 a person.
A lot cheaper than seeing Stormy Daniels.
Exactly, and a lot safer.
At least in the champagne room.
Yeah, exactly. And for that $1,196, the proceeds go to 100 Club of Chicago. But you will also, as a gift from us, get 25 one-minute commercials that will air right here on AM 560 The Answer. It's a great way to promote your business. Tom Sadeka from Precision Payroll, he was a business benefactor, and look at where his company is now.
He's one of the richest men in the world now.
Exactly. So join us on June 14th. We have shotgun starts at 7:30 and at 2:30. The number to call to sign up for this great event is 312-363-6680. That's 312-363-6680. Coming up on Chicago's Morning Answer.
Are we on the cusp of a regional war in the Middle East? We'll ask Israeli Deputy Prime Minister Michael Oren at 8:08.
And one NFL star gets political and possibly conservative. We'll tell you why. But first, into the newsroom we go. Here is Mike Scott.
Heavy rain expected to continue around Chicagoland through this day. Anita Alvarez threatens to sue over claims by Kim Fox. Paul Vallis announces for mayor. Superdogs co-founder passes away. Rockies beat the Cubs in a rubber match. Cardinals clipped the White Sox. Cloudy and cooler today. We'll have a couple of showers and maybe a thunderstorm. And a flash flood watch remains in effect. WIND Chicago News Time is 8 o'clock.
It was payback and completely legal. I'm Dave Anthony, Fox News. That's what Rudy Giuliani tells Fox about the repayment President Trump made to his lawyer, Michael Cohen, for the $130,000 paid to Stormy Daniels to keep the porn star quiet about her claim she had sex with the president years before he was elected.
When I heard Cohen's retainer of $35,000 when he was doing no work for the president, I said, well, that's how he's repaying. That's how he's repaying it.
But Giuliani adds the president didn't know that's what the money was for.
The president tweeting the non-disclosure agreement was used to stop the false and extortionist accusations made by her about an affair, despite already having signed a detailed letter admitting that there was no affair. He continued prior to its violation by Ms. Clifford and her attorney. This was a private agreement. Money from the campaign or campaign contributions played no role in this transaction. At the White House, John Decker, Fox News.
Giuliani also called the special counsel's Russia investigation completely tainted.
Right now, the odds are he wouldn't be interviewed. But I don't close my mind to it.
But if it did happen, Giuliani would want a narrow list of questions. Robert Mueller has at least 50 he wants answered, hinting he could subpoena the president. It's a national day of prayer at the White House, and this year the pastor of the Sutherland Springs Church in Texas that was shot up in November will be one of the guests. Pastor Frank Pomeroy's daughter was among the 26 people murdered. The day after a military plane crashed in Georgia.
We have confirmed that 9 airmen from the Puerto Rico Air National Guard were aboard the aircraft and have deceased.
Colonel Pete Boone says they don't know yet why the plane nosedived to the ground after takeoff. It was headed to Arizona. There are 9 people hospitalized in Connecticut, most or all of them police officers, injured when a barn exploded last night as they were talking to a suspect barricaded in a house. He was suspected in holding his wife hostage. He is still not in custody. Fox News, fair and balanced.
63 degrees, cloudy skies, and some light rain showers crossing the area at 8:02 on AM 560. The Answer. Good morning. I'm Mike Scott. Cleanup is underway after severe thunderstorms tore through Chicagoland. Storms moving through the city and suburbs last night and early this morning, bringing lightning, strong winds, and quarter-sized hail. No one is in custody after 5 were shot in a drive-by shooting on Chicago's west side. 2 men, a woman, and 2 boys were standing outside last night in the 3500 block of West Crenshaw when someone in a passing vehicle opened fire. The field for the 2019 race for Chicago mayor is now at 6 challengers. Former Chicago Public Schools CEO Paul Vallis formally announcing his campaign yesterday at the University Club, pledging to bring an end to Washington-style pay-to-play politics. Authorities are looking for an inmate who was accidentally released from the Cook County Jail. Shane Sleeper was being held on state terrorism and harassment charges over allegations of threats of violence against gay bars on Chicago's North Side. He was let out of jail Tuesday night, even though after he was indicted on felony charges, he was supposed to remain inside. Cook County Sheriff's Department said they were told Sleeper's misdemeanor charges had been dismissed, so he was released. Family and friends are mourning the death of one of the co-founders of Chicago's iconic Superdog Drive-In. Florence Berman passed away Tuesday night at the age of 92. Rockies beat the Cubs 11-2. Cardinals clipped the White Sox 3-2 at Busch. Our time is 8:03. It's time for the AM 560 Business Beat from the Fox Business Network, a service of Turnkey.pro. Here's Ginny Casola.
From the Fox Business Network, meal kit company Blue Apron is adding more customers. Blue Apron Holdings is still losing money. It's spending on marketing, and its loss was smaller than expected. Though its customers are down from a year ago, the number is up from the previous quarter. Dow DuPont's business was stronger than forecast in its recent quarter. Cigna's earnings are sharply higher and better than expected. Cigna says business improved for its commercial healthcare and global supplements benefits division. Avon Products lost money in its recent quarter. The company says its results were unsatisfactory and do not represent the underlying potential for the business. Avon is no longer the U.S. company with Avon representatives. That company is headquartered in London. The business in the U.S., Canada, and Puerto Rico is called New Avon. The Dow was down 174 yesterday. NASDAQ dropped 29. With the Fox Business Report, I'm Ginny Cosola.
8:04, a check of traffic and weather on the way next on AM 560.
Larry Elder says America is focused on the wrong thing. Again.
You know what it's like when you go into a Starbucks and you don't want to buy anything and you want to use the restroom and they tell you have to buy something. It can really ruin your day. And again, I am not saying that it couldn't have been handled differently. I'm not saying that at all. But for crying out loud, talk about making a mountain out of a molehill and the NAACP getting involved with all of these real problems.
The Larry Elder Show, weeknights at 7, right before Jay Sekulow at 9 on AM 560. The Answer.
When you're hiring, you don't want to sort through dozens of irrelevant resumes. You want an efficient way to get to a short list of qualified candidates. That's why you need Indeed.com. Post a job in minutes. Set up screener questions based on your job requirements. Then zero in on qualified candidates using our intuitive online dashboard. Discover why 3 million businesses use Indeed for hiring. Post a job today at Indeed.com/hire. Search for greatness. Search Indeed.
Are we ready to open next month?
I think so.
You think so?
Well, it's complicated. Fire protection, first aid supplies, uniforms, safety training, mat services. Oh, and restroom supplies.
So uncomplicated. Call Cintas. They'll handle all of it.
Wow, one company can handle all that? That's not very complicated.
So, you'll be ready?
Oh, we'll be ready.
Learn how Cintas can help you get ready for the workday. Visit Cintas.com.
8:06. get an update on the roads and the Alarm Detection Systems Traffic Center. Here's Jim Talamonte.
Thanks, Mike. It's very heavy on the inbound Kennedy Expressway this morning after an early morning crash at Division. It is an hour and 24 minutes O'Hare to downtown, 54 minutes from Montrose, 40 in the Express, outbound 55 minutes to O'Hare, where there are delays and cancellations this morning. Aiden's 26 minutes, Lake Cook Junction, outbound 34. Eisenhower, an hour and 5 minutes, 390 to downtown, 46 minutes from Manheim, outbound an hour 15 to 390 after a crash at North Avenue. Stevenson, an hour and 14 minutes, 355 to Lakeshore Drive, outbound 42 minutes. Ryan, 34 minutes, 95th to downtown. Tri-State, southbound heavy 21 to 60, northbound Harlem to 31st, and from the Reagan Tollway to North Avenue. Adams Tollway slow 31 to Barrington and Lee to the Tri-State. Reagan Tollway 25 to Washington, 22nd of the Tri-State, and northbound Veterans Memorial is heavy from the Des Plaines River Bridge much of the way up to 290. Traffic is a service of Staples. Staples can help your business stand out with custom printed signs, banners, and brochures now through June 2nd. Spend $25 or more in-store for a chance to win $1,000 worth of print and marketing services. Visit staples.com/SMB week. Rules. No purchase necessary. Must be 18 or older. Staples. Traffic answers when you need them most. Jim Talamonte, AM 560. The Answer.
Chicago's Morning Answer continues next. Your official Chicagoland weather forecast. From the 1 Hour Heating and Air Conditioning Weather Center, here's our meteorologist, Alexander Rabb.
Cloudy today with a couple of showers and a thunderstorm and a high of 73. And tonight, a couple of thunderstorms around and some severe, considerably cloudy and breezy. These thunderstorms can bring flooding downpours, large hail, and damaging wind gusts and a low of 61. I'm Alex Rabb on AM 560, The Answer.
Currently 63 at O'Hare. Next News 8:30. Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan and Amy continues next on AM 560, The Answer.
Build business with Chamber 630, one of the largest business organizations in DuPage County. Marketing your business and connecting clients is their priority. Visit chamber630.com or call 630-968-4050 to join today.
This is Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan Proft and Amy Jacobson on AM 560. The Answer.
Good morning, Dan and Amy. And we talked about it the last couple of days. Benjamin Netanyahu's remarkable presentation and the Israeli intelligence operation about the Israeli intelligence operation, which secured all of this information from the Iranians about the extent of their nuclear program and the depth of their lies about it. And certainly this is important in the context of consideration about what to do about that unholy deal that the Obama administration negotiated with the Iranians that, as Ambassador Dermer mentioned or described, didn't prevent a nuclear Iran. It provided a path to a nuclear Iran. And I don't know if you're familiar with this organization. I got turned on to it a few years ago. CAMRUC, the Committee for Accuracy in Middle East Reporting in America, is the name of the organization. Mm-hmm. And so I've been following it for some time. And it really is remarkable how skewed the D.C. press corps is with reporting on the Middle East, particularly as it pertains to Israel. Let me just give you one example that's recent, last 24 hours. The total blackout of the Palestinian leader Abbas's anti-Semitic rants. This week, he blamed the Holocaust, Abbas, and anti-Jewish pogroms throughout history on Jews. He insisted in a televised speech that Jews were massacred because they were bankers who charged usury and so on. I'm not kidding. That's Mahmoud Abbas in a televised speech, and there's barely any reporting on it. In addition, frankly, to the lethargy with which the D.C. press corps has reported on Netanyahu's presentation, the underlying substance of the presentation, all being dismissed, and frankly, even the former Obama flacks responsible for it are kind of in conflict with one another. It's either old information, we already knew that, or it is somehow not compelling enough for us to unwind this deal that the Obama administration cut with the Iranians. Well, for more on this topic and others, we're pleased and honored again to be joined by Michael Oren, who is a former Israeli ambassador to the United States, now the Israeli deputy prime minister. Michael Oren, thanks so much for joining us. Appreciate it.
Hi, Dan. Hi, Amy. Good morning, Chicago.
Good morning. Thanks for joining us. Appreciate it. So I guess take those arguments advanced by opponents of Israel or those that are proponents of the Iran nuclear deal in whichever order you want with respect to old information or nothing that's so compelling that it should make us reconsider the deal that was cut.
Well, those are the proponents of the deal will say that they knew Iran was lying. That's why they had to cut the deal and have very intrusive inspections. But that response raises some major contradictions. One, if the inspections were so intrusive, how come they didn't discover an archive that's sitting in downtown Tehran in broad daylight? Two, if they knew Iran was lying, and one of the conditions of the nuclear deal was that Iran came clean on its nuclear program, and Iran didn't come clean, and everyone knew that Iran didn't come clean. Everyone knew Iran was lying, then that makes anybody who signed the agreement party to a lie, now doesn't it? And here are some of the even more pressing issues. A Iranian regime that has no intention of making a nuclear bomb in the future does not keep the blueprints from a bomb in a warehouse. You keep them in a warehouse because you can go back to the warehouse and build a bomb. And the people who think that Iran is lying, so they're signing this agreement, think that Iran is never going to go back to building the bomb, then why would they put an end to the nuclear agreement? Why is there a sunset clause in this agreement that says in 7 years it expires and Iran can go back to enriching uranium? Why would they do that if they knew the Iranian regime is lying about its military nuclear program? Nothing makes sense, Dan. And it makes sense, it lacks sense in a way that is exceedingly dangerous for Israel, the Middle East, and the world.
Well, it's amazing to me how you were able to get all that information. And when Benjamin Netanyahu presented it, it was very powerful. It was very precise. But it seemed he was focusing on an audience of one, and that was President Trump. So was he effective?
I think he was effective. I think, I've heard this often that he has an audience of one. I think he has audiences around the world. I think the Europeans are starting to ask serious questions now. They've all asked Israel to look at this information. It has shaken them up. But I think it's more than that. I think that Prime Minister Netanyahu was speaking to the American people. And I don't think the American people enjoy having the wool pulled over their eyes and to be lied to. I don't think they appreciate that, particularly when an issue here is not just pride, but national security. And if President Trump decides to either cancel this agreement or change it in very fundamental ways, I think he'll be responding to a groundswell of opinion in his country, not just in ours.
I want to go back to some of what Ambassador Ron Dermer had to say this week. One of the other points that he made, which I thought was a salient one, is it's not just the cash that Iran got up front with respect to this deal, the unfreezing of accounts. It's also the ability to sell oil on the open market that's about a $35 billion a year cash cow for the Iranians. And I wonder what Israelis' position is with respect to not just the nuclear deal and unwinding that, but with respect to sanctions on Iran to try and cut off some of their money supply.
Well, it's excellent. And what brought Iran to the table to begin with was punishing sanctions. They should have been made more punishing and would have kept Iran at the table until we had a deal that actually responded to the threat and eliminated the threat. The deal was a bonanza from Iran. It gave the Iranians legitimacy. They could conquer a chunk of the Middle East. They could kill hundreds of thousands of Syrians, and nobody protested except for Israel, the United States, and Arab countries. Nobody in the world seemed to mind. And it gave the Iranians money, lots of money, to carry out these conquests, to carry out these massacres, unconscionable. And one of the craziest things I must tell you, the Iranians are using this money to ethnically cleanse Syria of Sunni Arabs. The money's coming from Europe. And where are the Sunni Arabs going? They're going to Europe. So the Europeans are funding their own demographic disaster. It's extraordinary. That's what greed will give you. But this has to end. I think that the Iranian economy is already reeling from the possibility that President Trump might pull out of this agreement. And let's see what happens to that economy if he does.
Sticking in the region, but on the other side of the aisle, the Saudis, the king-to-be of Saudi Arabia, Mohammed bin Salman, was in New York recently, meeting with rabbis as well as Catholic leaders, an interfaith dialogue. Characterize the importance of that meeting and this future king of Saudi Arabia. How does he play into stability in the region? Are we really seeing a watershed moment in the history of Saudi Arabia with his ascension?
Well, I think that I can't comment on the meeting per se, but what I can say is this, that, President Obama sought to bring Jews and Arabs closer together through peace. He succeeded in bringing us closer together, but not through peace. He succeeded in bringing us together through common concern over his policies, particularly over Iran. And today there is a greater meeting of the minds between Israel and the nations of the Gulf region, particularly Saudi Arabia. We agree on Iran, we agree on Syria, we agree on Assad and the Islamic Brotherhood and ISIS. We agree on pretty much everything. And the Saudis, at least implicitly, if not publicly yet, have come to see Israel not as an enemy country, but as an ally, and an ally that is vital for their security and for the security of the entire region.
There's been reported strikes, and I don't know that you can confirm or deny this, but reported Israeli strikes on Iranian bases in Syria in the last few weeks. And it's fueled some speculation as to whether or not this could precipitate a regional war or whether it can be contained in Syria. How would you characterize the Syrian problem and the Iranian influence in Syria?
Well, we certainly don't want a war. We're going to do whatever is necessary to defend ourselves. The bottom line about Syria is that Iran is determined to transform Syria into a militarized front against us, to establish military bases, ports, airfields in Syria, and Israel has drawn red lines, and they are very red. We will stop them. They try to build a port, try to build a base, try to introduce advanced precision-guided missiles into Syria. We're going to have to stop them. Iran, at the end of the day, it's going to be Iran's choice. But this country will do whatever is necessary to defend ourselves.
What's the timeline for President Trump to make a decision?
His timeline is for May 12th. He's announced on May 12th he will make a decision about the Iran deal. He said he will either mix it, or rescind it, or he will fix it. Now, our preference is to have it fixed, but the fixes have to be very substantive and specific. We need to have punishing sanctions on Iran's missile program. We need to have unlimited and unfettered inspections of Iranian military sites. And the most important thing, Dan and Amy, is we have to remove those sunset clauses that says that at the end of 7 years, these restrictions on Iran's nuclear program get removed and Iran can go back to enriching uranium. That is essential. And I think that we have a very close meeting of the minds on these points with the administration.
He is former Israeli ambassador to the United States, now Israeli Deputy Prime Minister Michael Oren. Thank you so much for joining us. Appreciate your insights.
Have a very good day. Thank you.
Thank you. And he joined us on our turnkey.pro answer line.
It's news, opinion, insight. This is Chicago's Morning Answer on AM 560. The Answer.
We're doing the new craze here, the new workout craze. What do you call that? Trampoline?
It's like the Man Show. It's girls on trampolines. That's what I'm looking at. They're ostensibly exercising, I guess.
Okay. Forecast for today, it's a soggy start. And we had some severe weather roll through here last night. Some roofs were damaged, trees down at Leland and Lawrence. Today, it's going to be cloudy, a couple of showers and passing thunderstorms, not a total washout. A high of 72 degrees tonight. An evening thunderstorm, some severe, a low of 60. And for Friday, yes, it's Friday tomorrow. Mostly cloudy in the morning. Then some sunshine by the afternoon, a high of 73 degrees. Let's get into the Alarm Detection Center Traffic Center. Here is Jim Telemonte.
Dan and Amy, Reagan Tollway westbound. The exit to Naperville Road is closed right now due to a crash. Eastbound traffic is slow, 59 to Washington and 22nd to the Tri-State. Tri-State very heavy. Southbound 21 to 60. Northbound from Harlem to 31st. From Reagan Tollway to North Avenue. Veterans Memorial Jam, northbound I-55 most of the way to 290. Southbound from the Army Trail to Roosevelt. Delays on 53 in both directions, ending around Kirchhoff. Eden's 21 minutes, Lake Hook to the junction, up on 35 Kennedy. An hour and 16 minutes, O'Hare to downtown. 58 minutes from Montrose. 52 in the Express. Outbound 56 to the airport. Eisenhower 56 minutes, 390 to downtown. Outbound an hour and 6 minutes, heavy on the extension. Stevenson an hour 14, 355 to the drive. Ryan 36 minutes, 95th to downtown. Jim Talamonte and the Alarm Detection Systems Traffic Center.
Thousands of doctors, health specialists, and professionals recommend Balance of Nature as a way of improving their health. Listen to a few unsolicited success stories from doctors that use Balance of Nature as well.
Scientific research has shown that many cancers and lifestyle diseases can be prevented with a diet rich in fruits and vegetables. This prevention comes from the phytochemicals in the plants. I take Balance of Nature because I know, I've seen it in my lab, and I know that it works. I've seen the immune response increase, I've seen your DNA repair capacity increase, and I've seen DNA protection. And that, to me, as a scientist, rings so true.
For a limited time, use discount code CHICAGO to receive a 50% discount on your first preferred whole health system and have it shipped to you free. Call 1-800-246-8751. That's 1-800-246-8751. Or go online to balanceofnature.com and use discount code CHICAGO.
Signature Bank is Chicago's fastest growing independently owned business bank. It's a bank where relationships still matter. Signature Bank knows your name and your story. I'm Dan Proft, and I know this because Signature Bank is my business bank.
Hi, I'm Kevin Bastuga, co-founder of Signature Bank. If you get the feeling your deposits don't matter to your bank, then maybe you're not with the right bank. At Signature Bank, your deposits matter to us as much as your business loans. Signature provides unmatched banking expertise, custom financial solutions, and the industry's best technology to closely held Chicagoland businesses. Whether your business is looking for a deposit relationship or needs a ready source for financing, Signature Bank is the right bank for you. Call us today to see how Signature Bank can help your business grow and thrive.
Signature Bank is looking for their next success story. To learn more about turning your business vision into reality, visit signaturebank.bank. Signature Bank, helping local businesses succeed. Member FDIC, Equal Housing Lender.
Studies show if you sleep next to someone who snores, you could be losing an hour of sleep every night. I'm Trina Webster, and I don't have that problem anymore.
I'm Dan Webster. We're the founders of Z-Quiet.
We know how snoring can turn your sweet dreams into a nightmare of shoving, poking, and morning frustration.
Not to mention those dreaded trips to the couch in the middle of the night.
Snoring was a real problem for us.
I tried everything, even surgery, but nothing worked.
That's when we developed an amazing solution called Z-Quiet.
Z-Quiet is easy to use and works immediately so you can sleep comfortably without making a sound. Just pop it in before you sleep and kick snoring out of bed forever.
Millions of people are sleeping better every night thanks to Z-Quiet. So if better sleep is one of your goals, go to getzquiet.com.
Z-Quiet fits both men and women. Try it risk-free for 30 days for just $9.95. Text SLEEP to 246810 or go to getzquiet.com. Text SLEEP to 246810 or go to getzquiet.com.
Chicagoland, Dan Proft here, and I'm here with my guy, Ryan Kelly, at the homeloanexpert.com. It's real simple with Ryan. He's one of us, and he gets it. Ryan, thanks for joining us. Look, the housing market is hot right now, very hot in Chicago, top of the market. What does someone need to do if they're going to buy a house this year?
You know, what a great question, Dan. I appreciate letting me jump on with you, and you're exactly right. The housing market is hot. It's really hot. And if you're even considering buying a house this year, you need to get pre-approved, and you need to be pre-approved by a strong mortgage lender. I mean that. There's a lot of other lenders. There's a lot of banks out there. But when you get pre-approved by the homeloanexpert.com, that pre-approval is like gold. Heck, we even print them on gold paper. They're so valuable. And if you are considering buying a house, know one thing. You're not the only person out there watching the same neighborhoods, the same school districts, waiting for those listings. There's a lot of other people sitting on the sideline. Get pre-approved today at thehomeloanexpert.com. The Home Loan Expert LLC, Illinois residential mortgage licensee.
AM 560, The Answer.
Good morning, Dan and Amy. I wanted to see, Amy, if you could confirm or deny this, since this story really relates to you. Science proves that happiness begins at 50. Is that true?
Oh, my God. You know, I'm not there yet, but I should ask you because you're 72. I'm not.
Contrary to the stereotype of late adulthood as a time of relinquishment, sadness, and decline, it tends to be the most satisfying time of life.
For who?
Jonathan Rausch of Brookings Institute has written a new book with a happiness curve, Why Life Gets Better After 50, and other wives' tales you'd love to believe.
Well, Mike Scott's 50-something. Can we turn... Oh, he's 54. Are you happier now than you were in your 40s?
Yeah.
Why? I'm just curious why.
Kids are a little older.
Kids are almost gone.
Yeah. Two of them are almost gone.
Can't wait.
More interaction with my wife. More
Let's
time
keep this
to
going.
enjoy food instead of just eating junk that because you're so busy.
Oh.
Yeah, a lot of good stuff. More golf.
More golf. Okay, I could buy that.
Yeah.
Dan, I mean,
Yeah.
how do you feel? You don't have kids.
I know.
Oh, too soon.
No, I have golf and I have a dog.
That's something.
Yeah. And
I'm going to be sad when my kids
I have
leave,
a
or maybe
plane.
I'll feel that way.
No,
Plane that
you'll be.
fly, I don't know.
Yeah, you'll be sad, but you'll be happy as
Just
well.
kind of similar to the first day of kindergarten when they leave.
Oh,
and
yeah.
You're sad for the
Same
first
else,
hour, then you realize, I have my life back. I could go do things.
and my books.
I'm sorry, Dan's still talking. What else?
Well, I'm just taking
You
stock
can
of my
read.
life now.
Do you know how hard, if you're a mom, how hard it is to read? You don't have time. You're like dishes, laundry, lunch,
Yeah.
dinner.
Yeah.
Your mom Uber from 3 to 9 at night.
Got my guns.
You've got see,
My guns.
got your dog. You have a nice car
Got my car.
that doesn't have smelly, sweaty boys sitting in it. We hope not, because that would be creepy.
Here's the way to
Oh, yes, please.
live the life of Riley or Mike Scott, as the case may be. Enjoy your middle-aged years. You got to get rid of this obsolete way of thinking about the aging process, according to Rausch. As we're living longer, we have to recognize that life is truly a gift. We got to update outdated assumptions, including the three-stage life paradigm is obsolete. Over half of employed Americans aged 65 to 74, say they're retired but currently working. So, this idea of, in your 55 or 65, you just retire and walk away, that's not the case anymore, so you got to get rid of that. Secondly, you need to make an adjustment that in our heads by retiring the idea that after we pass our physical prime, it's all downhill. It's not. You got pickleball. You can't play tennis anymore, you play pickleball,
It's awesome.
for example.
I could destroy you in pickleball.
I don't think so. No, I don't think so. I don't think your range of movement is not as
fluid.
and I'm much quicker. Much quicker. And stronger and better looking. Finally, we need to rethink and destigmatize midlife transition. We see middle age as the peak years for achievement. Successful 45-year-olds who find themselves experiencing malaise and dissatisfaction feel embarrassed and ashamed, and I don't have to anymore. Oh, that's not about me. In later decades, we experience less stress, regret, and emotional volatility. We become better at balancing mixed emotions and more inclined towards a positive outlook. Our interpersonal skills and experience help ourselves to navigate social complexities because we're not pursuing money or status anymore. We just want interpersonal connection, and so it makes us better, happier people. I wish I believed any of this were true.
Yes.
Only the thing about pickleball.
And if you want to be a happier person, then you could sign up for our annual golf outing, 100 Club of Chicago golf outing.
It's a temporary high.
Thursday, June 14th at the Bolingbrook Golf Club. Why should you do this? Well, you have a great day of golf. There's a 7:30 or 2:30 p.m. Shotgun start, lunch at 12:30. But the proceeds of this event go to the 100 Club of Chicago. And as a way of saying thank you, we will give you 25 one-minute commercials. Now, of course, you have to sign up with a business, or if you're the owner of a company or a marketing director, you want to test the waters on advertising on radio, this is the time to do it. This is the place to do it. It's a $3,000 value. It's up $3,000. It's valued at more than $3,000 in advertising. We're giving it to you for $1,196. The phone number to call, 312-363-6680. That's 312-363-6680, and we'll see you on the first tee.
Yeah, and if you're under 50 and you're feeling restless, malaise, depressed, Amy will help you work through it.
Exactly. Coming up on Chicago's Morning Answer.
How the adversaries of our fair nation have manipulated progressives for the last century and are continuing to do so. There's a new book about it by Professor Paul Kanger from Grove City College, one of the schools that is approved for Peyton and Eli. We'll talk to him about it at 8:38.
And later, the perfect 5K for Dan Proft. But into the newsroom we go now. Here's Mike Scott.
That flash flood watch that had been in effect throughout this morning from the overnight has been canceled by the National Weather Service. At 8:31, good morning, I'm Mike Scott. Cleanup is underway after those severe storms tore through Chicagoland. Storms moved through the city and suburbs last night. Strong winds, quarter-size hail. Flights were canceled, and an apartment building on Chicago's south side was evacuated after a roof collapse. President Trump this morning teasing progress in getting the release of 3 Americans held hostage in North Korea or getting them freed on Twitter, saying past administrations had long demanded the hostages be released, but to no avail. The president added, "Stay tuned." His tweet came after reports that 3 men had been moved to a hotel near Pyongyang. North Haven, Connecticut police say 8 officers are injured after a hostage situation ended up in an explosion. California reporting the first death in the nation's E. coli outbreak. The latest update from the CDC shows 23 additional cases linked to tainted lettuce grown in Arizona. 9 are dead after a military plane crashes near Savannah, Georgia.
I'm actually not sure if all 9 bodies have been recovered as of yet. There was a team here from Dover last night that was going through that around midnight, so I'm not sure the results of that yet.
A Georgia Air National Guard spokesperson this morning saying the C-130 cargo plane on its last flight crashed on Highway 21 near Savannah. No one is in custody this morning after 5 were shot in a drive-by on Chicago's west side. All of the victims, including the woman who was struck by the gunfire, remain in critical condition. Mayor Emanuel now facing a challenger with more experience in city government than he has. AM 560's David Stewart says former Chicago Public Schools CEO Paul Vallis is now officially in the race. Nolan Arenado homered twice. Rockies beat the Cubs at Wrigley 11-2. Yu Darvish got roughed up again. Dexter Fowler's 2-run home run helped the Cardinals clip the White Sox 3-2 and sweep that 2-game interleague series. The news is a service of Lowe's. Pro customers at Lowe's save 5% every day when you use your Lowe's business credit account. 5% on all purchases in-store or online, subject to credit approval, U.S. only. 8:33 and a check of traffic and weather on the way next on AM 560.
Mike Gallagher thinks the Democrats are scrambling.
This is so crazy. The left is in such a frenzy. The DNC lawsuit suing WikiLeaks and the Trump campaign. Oh, yeah, Russia. Sue Russia, because that'll work. It's nuts. We are in Crazyville.
The Mike Gallagher Show. Weekdays at 9, right before Dennis Prager at 11 on AM 560. The Answer.
Get your truly free credit score and free credit monitoring from Credit Karma. Download the Credit Karma app today. Credit Karma. Get knowing.
Shoot Point Blank is Chicago's leading shooting range and firearms store. Featuring 20 climate-controlled shooting lanes, complete retail store, and firearm education classes for all experience levels. Whether you're a new or expert shooter, now you can experience the Shoot Point Blank difference and see for yourself why so many people are talking about Shoot Point Blank.
I can tell you, I was impressed as soon as I walked through the door. The employees were really helpful, very patient, and knowledgeable, too.
My wife and I had a wonderful experience. We felt very comfortable and informed.
Brett was very friendly and respectful, and he answered all my questions. Because I'm new to pistols, I'm grateful he was patient and helped me decide what to buy for my new firearm.
For a huge selection of new and used firearms, ammo, and state-of-the-art indoor shooting range, visit them in Hodgkins, Mokina, Naperville, or Merrillville. Or check out shootpointblank.com. Experience the difference. Shoot Point Blank.
8:35. Let's get an update on that morning ride to work in the Alarm Detection Systems Traffic Center. Here's Jim Talamonte.
Thanks, Mike. It's a long ride on the inbound Kennedy with delays from Central to the Burn Circle. It's 1 hour and 16 minutes from O'Hare to downtown, 58 minutes from Montrose, 52 in the Express. Outbound 32 minutes to Montrose and 56 to the airport. Eden's 21 minutes from Lake Cook to the junction, outbound 35. The Eisenhower's 56 minutes, 390 to downtown, 42 from Manhunt. But outbound an hour and 5 minutes to 390. It's very heavy from the Tri-State to 355. Stevenson is an hour and 8 minutes, 355 to Lakeshore Drive. Outbound 42 minutes. The Ryan 36 minutes, 95th to downtown. I-57 24 minutes. I-80 to the Merge, Mission 428. Southbound Tri-State Heavy 21 to 60. Northbound Harlem to 31st. And from the Reagan Tollway to North Avenue. Eastbound Reagan Tollway delays are 59 to Washington and 22nd to the Tri-State. Westbound, the exit to Naperville Road is closed to the crash. Veterans Memorial jammed. Southbound from the Army Trail toll to Roosevelt, crash on the right shoulder. Northbound I-55 most of the way to 290. Traffic answers when you need them most. Jim Talamonte on AM 560, The Answer.
Chicago's Morning Answer continues next. Your official Chicagoland weather forecast from the 1 Hour Heating and Air Conditioning Weather Center. Cloudy and cooler today. We'll have some showers, maybe a thunderstorm, and a high of 72. Currently, in Chicago, we have 63. Next news at 9. Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan and Amy continues next on AM 560, The Answer.
Listen to AM 560 on your mobile device. Now available on iHeartRadio. Online at iHeartRadio.com.
AM 560, The Answer.
Dan and Amy, point of personal privilege here. Mike Scott's been reporting all morning the passing of one of the co-founders of Superdogs.
Oh, yeah.
Florence Berman, right? Yeah. 92, great life.
Did you ever eat there?
Sure, of course.
Sure you did. The dance. I always wanted to go to the place with the dancing hot dog. I thought that was pretty cool.
It is cool. It is.
And she had a great life.
Also, I learned Peter Huizenga, who is is a Hinsdalian, one of the co-founders of Waste Management. His cousin Wayne Huizenga, of course, Blockbuster and Dolphins, also Waste Management. He passed away as well, and I actually saw him relatively recently, just a couple of months ago for a Jeannie Ives event in Hinsdale.
How did he die?
I
Don't tell me his heart stopped beating.
Nah, he had some.
Did he have some health issues?
Yeah, he had some health issues. I think he was around 80. I don't know exactly, but he was around 80. But he was a great guy, a great conservative benefactor, by the way. So it's worth noting his passing too. He was a successful businessman and who paid it forward for his values, something that more successful businessmen should take a lesson from. So just wanted to remark on Peter Huizenga's passing. Turning to some of the chaos surrounding the president and these investigation into not just the president, that was the focus, of course, because of Rudy Giuliani's interview on Hannity last night, but also the continuing look at Trump associates. Michael Caputo, former Trump campaign aide. You've probably seen him on the news, cable news channels, right? He testified before the Senate Intelligence Committee yesterday. At the conclusion of his testimony, he had some pointed words. Your investigation and others into the allegations of Trump campaign collusion with Russia are costing my family a great deal of money. More than $125,000, making a visceral impact on my children. Now I must move back to Washington, New York, Miami, or elsewhere just so I can make enough money to pay off these legal bills. And I know I have you to thank for it. Here's how I know. How many of you know Daniel Jones, former Senate Intel staffer for Senator Difey? Great guy, right? Most of you work with him. One of you probably just talked to him this morning. Of course, very few of us in flyover country knew Daniel until recently. Now we know that he quit his job with the Senate committee not long ago to raise $50 million from 10 rich Democrats to finance more work on the Fusion GPS Russian dossier. The one thing the FBI used to get a FISA warrant and intimidate President Trump without anyone admitting that it was paid for by Clinton. In fact, good old Dan has been raising and spending millions to confirm the unconfirmable, and of course, to keep all his old Intel colleagues up to speed on what Fusion GPS and British and Russian spies have found. Got to keep that Russia story in the news. He goes on to just detail what he knows to be true. That gives you a flavor of it. What America needs is an investigation of the investigators. I want to know who is paying for the spies' work in coordinating this attack on President Trump. I want to know who Dan Jones is talking to across the investigations from the FBI to the Southern District of New York to the OSC to the Department of Justice to Congress. Forget about the death threats against my family. I want to know who cost us so much money, who crushed our kids, who forced us out of our home. all because you lost an election. I want to know because God damn you to hell. Getting intense, but when people's lives are being destroyed, you can understand a pointed response. That's Michael Caputo before the Senate Intel Committee yesterday. For more on this topic in a roundabout way, we're pleased to be joined by Paul Kenger, who's a professor of poli-sci at Grove City College. He's the author of the book Dupes, How America's Adversaries Have Manipulated Progressives for a Century. And I assume we're starting with the Bolshevik Revolution there. Professor Kenger, thanks so much for joining us. Appreciate it.
Well, thanks, Dan and Amy. Good to be with you.
America's adversaries manipulating progressives. Are we talking about Soviet/Russian adversaries?
Oh, yes. And I mean, that indeed has truly been going on for a century. I mean, we just marked the 100th anniversary of the Bolshevik Revolution last fall, 2017. And, you know, you mentioned, Dan, what's going on with Russia collusion, the 2016 election. And I mean, look, yeah, I agree that if there's anything smelly out there, they should look into it. And Vladimir Putin is an old KGB guy, and nothing the Russians ever do ever surprises me. It's one of the reasons why I'm a conservative, right? but it's interesting to see liberals finally care or give a whit or suddenly have their antenna up where there's suspicions about the Russians because, lo and behold, wow, they might have hurt Hillary Clinton, right? It's not like the previous 100 years of Russian disinformation and misinformation and manipulation of liberals. That never seemed to bother them. But they've been at this craft for a long time. They're really good at it.
Well, do you think President Trump or the Department of Justice or anybody is stopping Russia from interfering in future elections, especially the upcoming midterms?
Yeah. Well, I don't know. I mean, and so I don't know if this is what Mueller is looking into or not. The example that I give in this book, Dupes, I mean, this is stunning. It was May 1983, and people listening to this, they're gonna find this hard to believe because the media has never followed it, never paid attention to it. And I actually first broke this in Dupes in 2010, so we're releasing it again now in 2018, an updated version. But we know this. This is a fact. This is indisputable. We have the documents. In May 1983, and this was the context of the coming 1984 presidential re-election campaign of Ronald Reagan, Senator Ted Kennedy, who was a sitting senator at that time, he confidentially reached out to the head of the KGB, Viktor Chebrikov, and the head of the USSR, Yuri Andropov, with an offer to work against Reagan. And the actual May 14th, 1983 KGB memo, and this was declassified in 1992. All right, so this memo has been around for a while, and I reprinted the whole thing in Russian and also in English. But it says the goal here is to, quote, counter the militaristic policies of Reagan, quote unquote, to influence Americans, quote unquote, toward the Soviet position. The memo said Kennedy was greatly disturbed by Reagan, but very impressed with Yuri Andropov. And if that memo, you guys, if a memo like that existed today from 2016 with Donald Trump's name on it, the Democrats would be drawing up the impeachment papers right now, and there wouldn't be a Republican who could stop them. But this is the kind of thing that their guys have done on their side for literally decades. And as I said, I first reported this in 2010. I can tell you without exaggeration, I never got a single call from CNN, the Washington Post, the New York Times, nothing. And we're releasing it again this week in 2018. I guarantee you, I will not get a single call again from any of those sources. I promise you that. I'd bet $100,000 that they won't call me. It's just shows like yours and no others, and not anything in the liberal media that's going to give any attention to this. But with Trump, it's 24/7. It's all they care about.
It's really incredible. I didn't realize that. It's really incredible. Maybe with the updating of Ted Kennedy's legacy, thanks to the Chappaquiddick movie, maybe they could add this to the update.
Well, and I mean, really, and in all seriousness, That would be the perfect. I mean, right? We're both in the media. We know how this works. That'd be the perfect so-called hook, right?
Mm-hmm.
By the media to finally give us some attention. They always say, "Well, Kennedy's been dead for however many years. This is out of the news, right?" Old news is never news if it affects Democrats or liberals, right? I mean, if Donald Trump was a liberal, they'd say, "Well, it happened back in 2016." That's old news, right? Yeah, it's not going on today. But yeah, with the Chappaquiddick thing, and I would add here, your lion of the Senate there, this great liberal hero, Ted Kennedy, is dead now. So why not go ahead and give it some attention now? It's not going to hurt him. But this is what they do. They protect their guys literally to the grave. They really do. Whereas if Ted Kennedy had an R next to his name instead of a D, they'd be out digging up this. They'd be at the cemetery right now with cameras and microphones, trying to interview a corpse if they could.
It's incredible. Now I want to go back to Russia for a moment, because it seems like the progressives, the left, the cultural Marxists, and the more appropriate term perhaps. Their main problem with 21st century Russia is that it's not the 20th century Soviet Union. And I refer you to one of your colleagues in academia, Jason Barker, who is an associate professor of philosophy at a university in South Korea, who penned a piece on the occasion of the May Day Eve. Happy birthday, Karl Marx. You were right. It was sort of a remarkable recasting of the 20th century ongoing by some of your colleagues in higher ed.
Oh, it's absolutely right. And in fact, I'll give you a heads up on this. I have two pieces tomorrow. One in the Wall Street Journal that's on the 200th anniversary of Marx, and another in American Spectator tomorrow, which addresses classical Marxism versus cultural Marxism. And you're exactly right. In fact, the New York Times has been so egregious on this that all through 2017, they were running these centenary pieces on 100 years of communism, and they actually had pieces. One of them talked about how, I'm trying to give you the exact words, the exact language off the top of my head. Communism made women's lives better in China.
Oh, really?
Which is just absurd. And the other one actually argued, and people are going to think that I'm joking, but go ahead and look this up. It said that communism gave women better sex.
We talked about that on this show. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely true.
And it just absolutely unbelievable. And I wrote about that at the time also for an American Spectator piece. And one of the readers in the reader comments said that he worked at Checkpoint Charlie, and he used to look over beyond the Berlin Wall into East Berlin. And he said, this is probably right, because come about 5 or 6 o'clock in the evening, all the electricity would go out, and there was really nothing else to do in the communist world but have sex. So maybe the Times is onto something there.
Well, how do these adversaries, particularly of the Russian variety, how do they continue to manipulate the left in our cultural and civic institutions today?
Well, they're really good at it, and I know there are probably people listening right now that are saying, "Well, why did you say that they do that to Republicans too?" Well, the main reason for this is that the communists on the far left of the ideological spectrum know that they're going to have more success with liberals and progressives who, if they're not pro-communist, at least share some sympathies with communists, right? The redistribution of wealth, taking money from the rich, giving it to the poor, collectivism. And you're going to have far more success duping and manipulating a Ted Kennedy or a Nancy Pelosi or a Barbara Boxer, a John Kerry in Vietnam, than you would a William F. Buckley Jr. or a Ronald Reagan or a Joe McCarthy. So they've always known where to go to get their suckers, to get their dupes. And the phrase that Vladimir Lenin used was useful idiot. Yeah. And he knew he wasn't going to get his useful idiots from right-wingers. The right-wingers were, obsessed. I'd call it a healthy obsession, obsessed with communism, anti-communism. You're going to find these people on the softer kind of secular, progressive, liberal left.
All of those details and more can be found in Paul Kanger's updated book, dupes, how America's adversaries have manipulated progressives for a century. Professor of Poli-Sci at Grove City College, Paul Kanger. Thanks so much for joining us. Appreciate it.
Hey, anytime. Give me a call anytime.
Thank you.
Thanks. And he joined us on our turnkey.pro answer line.
The more you listen, the more you'll know. This is Chicago's Morning Answer. Morning Answer on AM 560. The Answer.
Do you want your basement to be dry most of the time? If so, Permaseal is not the company for you. At Permaseal, we believe your basement should be dry all the time, no matter how hard it rains. Hi, I'm Roy Spencer, president of Permaseal. I hear story after story of homeowners who say their basement only leaks when it rains. Well, you don't worry about your living room or bedroom getting wet when it rains, and you should feel the same way about your basement. Just call 800-421-SEAL. We offer a free estimate, no haggle pricing, and a price assurance guarantee, so you can rest assured that you're getting the best value. Your basement is already dry most of the time, but if you want your basement dry all the time, you know who to call. 800-421-SEAL. Permaseal has earned an A-plus rating from the BBB and has received their 2016 Torch Award for Marketplace Ethics. That's 800-421-SEAL or visit permaseal.net.
Thousands of doctors, health specialists, and professionals recommend Balance of Nature as a way of improving their health. Listen to a few unsolicited success stories from doctors that not only recommend it, but use Balance of Nature as well.
In my practice, I was getting to the point where I couldn't have the strength to see that many patients anymore. I was diagnosed with sarcoidosis. It really affected my breathing and the strength that I had. And I was introduced to the fruits and veggies. Just slowly, my strength started to come back. And it was because of the good nutrition. I can't say enough good for Balance of Nature and what it's done for me. And I recommend it to everybody.
For a limited time, use discount code CHICAGO to receive a 50% discount on your first preferred whole health system and have it shipped to you free. Call 1-800-246-8751. That's 1-800-246-8751. Or go online to balanceofnature.com and use discount code CHICAGO.
This is Dan Proft with 60 Seconds of Sanity for Upstream-Ideas.com. I'm an inquisitive sort. I want to understand the left, but I have questions. When it comes to your concern that law enforcers not be above the law, is that just for beat cops, or does it extend to senior level officials at the nation's most powerful law enforcement agency? I ask because I haven't heard the date announced for the Andy McCabe protests. When it comes to treating the Constitution like an Asian buffet, are there limits to the application of the sanctuary designation? I ask because Effingham County, Illinois, voted to make their jurisdiction a sanctuary county for Second Amendment rights to protect the rights of their residents to protect themselves. I understand you to be stalwart defenders of a free press now. Could you share your conversion story? I ask because of your silence when Obama Attorney General Eric Holder surveilled and subpoenaed Fox News reporter James Rosen, and when Patrick Fitzgerald imprisoned New York Times reporter Judith Miller in the Scooter Libby case, to cite but just two examples. Thank you in advance for helping me distinguish your virtue from your virtue signaling.
Yeah. Traffic. It is what it is.
Stalled cars on the Kennedy Expressway.
Missed concerts, football games, lots of cold dinners, and cold shoulders from Cindy. How much longer do I have to do this? Kids miss me. Cindy misses me. Our marriage is missing me.
From Tabota and Associates.
Then I heard Jack Tabota on the radio again.
Financial strategy designed to help them retire sooner.
What do I have to lose? So I called him. We met, discussed my numbers, then just talked. Talked about life, family, retirement, then something I didn't expect. Jack says retirement wasn't as far off as I thought. And today, the only thing I'm missing is the traffic.
Do you need a financial strategy for retirement? Let's talk. Tabota and Associates, 630-777-7955. 630-777-7955. Investment advisory services offered through AE Wealth Management, LLC. AE Wealth Management and Tabota and Associates are not affiliated companies.
The following is a paid political announcement.
I'm Mike Braun. Politics shouldn't be a career. We need folks with real-world experience who get the job done and come back home. I've always been a conservative Republican, and I'm running because President Trump paved the way. Together, we'll build the wall, defend our values, and end bad trade deals for American workers. And the only person I'll owe anything to is you. I'm Mike Braun. I approve this message, and I ask for your vote.
Paid for by Mike Braun for Indiana.
I'm Mike Braun. Politics shouldn't be a career. We need folks with real-world experience who'll get the job done and come back home. I've always been a conservative Republican, and I'm running because President Trump paved the way. Together, we'll build the wall, defend our values, and end bad trade deals for American workers. And the only person I'll owe anything to is you. I'm Mike Braun. I approve this message, and I ask for your vote.
Paid for by Mike Braun for Indiana.
Dan Proft here, and I'm here with my guy, Ryan Kelly, at thehomeloanexpert.com. Ryan, one of the things I like about you, you're a hustler, you're a go-getter. Is it really true that you and your team will drive anywhere in Chicagoland so that your clients don't have to sit in the notorious Chicagoland traffic?
Oh, you better believe it. A mortgage is just too big of an investment, too big of a product to be done on an app or maybe through email only. And I feel that it's very important to at least get together with our clients for the application process. Meaning, if you're looking to refinance or buy a home, give us a call, 773-770-4727. That's 770-4727. Or you can always apply online at thehomeloanexpert.com. We'll gather some information. I will work you up your options, call you back. We'll review your options, compare where you are, and compare the new loan. If you say, hey, this is a great fit in what it's looking for, I'll come out and I'll meet you at your home or office. No one does that. Customer service, no one can match. Thehomeloanexpert.com. The Home Loan Expert LLC, Illinois Residential Mortgage Licensee.
AM 560, The Answer.
So, Dan, I know you're thinking about getting back in shape after binging and on the all-you-can-eat buffet.
Yeah, I'm getting lap band surgery.
Oh, is that what you're going to do?
Yeah, going to Christie it.
You're going to Chris you?
Tie this thing up.
Don't eat your way out of it, though.
Right.
Because that's always a possibility. Well, I found the perfect 5K for you.
No.
It's a fun run. No, because, they always say that they're fun runs, but then you start running and it's not so fun. Because it hurts even, people that are experienced runners like myself.
Uh-huh.
It's on May 5th, so you have plenty of time
May 5th.
to train.
That's
Saturday.
Saturday,
Right. Yeah.
Okay.
It's in San Antonio, and you like to travel.
Sure.
So what
Maybe
you
I'll
do
run
is,
down there to run 2.6 miles.
It's very, very convenient because you you start at one local brewery and you end at another exactly a half a kilometer away. So it's not really a 5K.
It's a 0.5K.
It's a 0.5K.
Oh,
so
halfway
they're offering pieces of cake in between, halfway through the race. Just in case.
Yeah.
So you can chow down on some cake, and you can have a beer at the start, and you can have a beer at the back.
Will Olivia Newton-John be there?
Oh, I'm sure. She'll get physical.
Then I'd consider it.
Hey, join us on June 14th for our annual golf outing this year. Again, we've teamed up with the 100 Club of Chicago. A foursome is $1,196. You break it down, it's about $300 a golfer. The proceeds go to the 100 Club of Chicago. And if you're a business owner, we'll give you 25 one-minute commercials. This is the best advertising deal in all of Chicagoland radio. A $3,000 deal for only $1,196. To become a business benefactor, call 312-363-6680. That number again, 312-363-6680. You're not going to want to miss this amazing opportunity. You'll have a fun day at golf. You'll help a noble cause, and you'll get your business promoted right here on these airwaves. 312-363-6680. And we'll see you out at the Bolingbrook Golf Club on Thursday, June 14th. Thanks so much to our technical producer, Justin Kosick, our associate producer, Quinn McCarthy, and, of course, the one and only executive producer, Keith Conrad. We're back here tomorrow morning, 5 a.m. Now, here is Mike Scott.
Heavy rain expected in Chicago this morning. 5 wounded in a West Side shooting. WIND Chicago.